Can people let us know if the buzzing stopped?
There's a buzzing.
There, yeah. Um, you touched something and it started. I don't know if there's something you turned on or.
Um, yeah, I mean, it could be whenever I'm going live um, on YouTube. I think that's what's been going on.
They said it stopped. I guess when we join the panel, it stops.
Yeah, Troy, what's up, man? Yeah, yeah. Some of that equipment is just, I mean, man, it's real touchy stuff. Real touchy stuff. Well, I hope y'all are having a at least a semi uh or not too busy of a day. Me, on the other hand, it's been all over the place, but it is what it is. Mm. So yesterday, let's see, yesterday, um, yeah, we were talking about what it looks like to be a godly man yesterday. And today, it's going to be more focused on, oh, excuse me. It's going to be more focused on how does a godly woman get her man to be a godly man. I don't think that'll be the main focus, but we will talk about that. But I think it's more going to be what does it look like to be a godly woman. But we touched on just about all of that yesterday, and we'll just kind of reiterate a lot of that stuff today as well. Mm.
At a time and add these extensions. So we could think about that later on or get a second silo if we really need to. So that's going to go there. And then some other sheds are going to be needed, but I don't really want to purchase those until we know all the equipment we have and where we need to store everything in this farmhouse. So I think
Shri, what's up, Shri? Love you, bro. Are you got a different name from India? Oh, from India. You been here before, Shri? I don't know. I think I might have seen that name here before. I don't recall. Yeah, that's why I am. I'm calling you Shri because I'm definitely not gonna mess up those other letters there. Big fan. Yeah. How long you been a fan, Tree? Huh? Don't come up here trolling now. How long you been a fan? A descaled fan? 2 years? No way. I don't believe you. I don't believe it's been 2 years. What's your favorite thing that you hear me talk about, Tree? For real?
Oh, I thought you were asking what's your OS.
Hold on. Let's not give away answers. Shree, what's your favorite thing you hear me talk about? Shree's on YouTube, guys. If you didn't know what I'm. Well, you got 10 seconds. You got 10 seconds, Shree. See, you're taking too much time. You're trying to find the answer. Forget sin? I don't know what you mean by that. What do you mean don't forget sin or forget sin? I don't tell people to forget sin. Well, maybe you're wording it wrong. You talking about forget sin? Or are you just trying to make it short? You just trying to make short answers? Is that what this is? Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I do talk about that. So that's fair. What's up, y'all?
Nope.
Who's that? Corshi. Yeah, Corshi, where you been hiding? Corshi been hiding. She said, yeah.
I just felt like, I really missed this scale. Like, I need to come back here as soon as possible.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about D-Scale. Y'all come when you want. Ain't nobody obligated to come. You know what I mean? There'll be people that will come and say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't been there in so long." I was like, "Sorry? You don't pay rent here. You come whenever you want. Yay. There ain't no chores waiting on you. You hear me? Ain't no chores waiting on you."
Try to come back, get the battery charged up, go into the crazy lives, get it depleted, come back, get the battery charged.
Yeah.
Hey, I got something for you early this morning. You ready?
I'm ready. Send it.
All right. I have my own thoughts on this too. I just want to see your thoughts. Have you seen...
Hold on. Dre, hold on. Before you say that, I want y'all to pay attention to Dre. Dre knows what he's doing, bro. He knows what he's doing, bro. He comes up with a subject or like an idea, right? He throws it out there and he's like, boom. He's like, now Trot will just take off with this and he'll just turn into 2 hours. Go ahead, Dre.
That's right. Here we go. This is going to be a good one.
All right. I got my pen
So
ready.
have you seen The Social Experiment?
The movie?
No.
Oh.
This is an actual thing that happened on TikTok. So it's this girl. She did a social experiment. She's a former Christian, I think. She's atheist now. So she decided that she was going to call churches and mosques and everywhere. Okay. And in the process, she's going to have like this crying baby in the background. She's going to call the church and say, "Hey, I have a baby that's starving. I need some formula. Can you guys help?" So she did this thing, right? And
how many churches or how many places, how many phone calls she made?
A lot, brother. A lot.
Okay.
You can look it up on TikTok, like a lot.
All right.
So there were some good Protestants. I saw some of them, but she went everywhere. So
yeah, but it's a lie. But it's a lie, right?
Thank you. I see. Me and Trot already. Hold on. I don't need you to say nothing, Christian. This is my subject. Okay, y'all just stay muted for a second. This is exactly what I was saying, Trot. That was my thought. The first thing when somebody brought this up to me, that was the first thing that came to my mind. Was, well, your church lacks discernment.
Yeah.
Because what she did was she called the mosque. The mosque was like, "Yes, of course. Yes. Alhamdulillah. Come through, sister. We're going to convert you to Islam and come get this formula." Right. Mm-hmm. And then she called a bunch of Protestant churches, and they were just like, "Watch out." They just hung up on her. Right. Yeah. And then she called the Catholic church, and the Catholic church is like, "Alhamdulillah, we got a prayer carpet for you. Come by. Yeah. We got some formula for you as well." Yeah. Right. So and the thing about it is, if people don't know this, I was a pastor at one of these churches. We get phone calls on a regular basis, and you don't know who's telling the truth and who's telling a lie. So the one thing that you could do at a church, if you really want to help from a church, you show up and you knock at their door and say, "Hey, do you guys have a food bank?" And 90% of Protestant churches have a food bank, and they will 100% give you food every single time. But to call somebody and make it seem like this social experiment is so amazing, and then some other donkey, he went to some crack dealers in the corner and was like, "Hey, bro, there's a lady up the stairs in the project. She needs some formula. Y'all got some bread?" And they all said, "Of course." And they went in their pocket and they're like, "Look, the crack dealers are better than the Protestant church. Your church is not as good as our dope dealers." Yeah. And I'm like, nobody showed up at these churches in person. You don't understand the amount of people that call and reach out to Protestant churches for help, and an amount of help. And most Protestant churches have a benevolent fund. If you guys don't know what that is, go look it up. And they give money away, but you have to show proof that you actually need this money. Otherwise, we're just giving money away. And guess what? We're not here to just give money away either. So I just want to bring that up and see how you saw that, because it was so crazy, bro, that they were just like dogging the Protestant church, saying, "Look at them, they're all about money. They don't give nothing." I was like, "You guys got fooled. She was lying, and you fell for the lie."
Yeah, she was
How
lying.
about that?
She was lying. It's funny to take someone who's lying that they need help and then say, y'all didn't help her. She didn't need help. She was lying. What are you talking about? This is crazy. This is crazy. This right here is what I'm talking about. Listen, if you haven't heard D-Scaled song, Harness Your Emotions, you need to go hear that song. And it's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, where we have gotten to this place that we think that being moved in our heart is when you're just more in your feelings. That's not being moved in your heart, because your flesh is smarter than you are and can make you believe anything that it wants you to believe, and you don't debate it. You'll probably get on TikTok and debate everybody about everything. Probably even the Bible would debate. Oh, I could debate that. I could debate. But as soon as your feelings tell you to mistreat someone, don't like someone because they're better than you, or someone treats you in a unfavorable way, I'm not going to forgive them. I'm going to hold them to what they said and what they did. Wow, it's funny. You don't know. How come you don't debate with those lies? You can debate with every other kind of lie that you hear, but when your flesh is lying to you, for some reason, you just like to reason with that. You like to reason with stupidity. You like to reason with death. Yesterday, we were talking about, what does a godly man look like? A godly man knows how to forgive. Right? If you hate your brother for not, you are murdering him in your heart. But if you tell God, oh, well, he's not my brother, is he human? Is he human? Because if he's human, then that is a prerequisite, right? Like the person could be your brother in the Lord, but you don't know how to forgive, right? But you don't know how to forgive. Again, I'm saying, if you're lying and saying, well, that person's not my brother in the Lord. Well, if the person is, though, right? If y'all are both praying to the Messiah, the Savior, then that person is your brother. And if you're like, well, that person treated me unfairly one time, or two times, or maybe three times, whatever. I'm just saying, you're not supposed to hate them. You're not supposed to hate them. You're not supposed to badmouth them. You're supposed to forgive them. And if you forgive them, then the relationship's supposed to grow from there. That's what forgiveness is. Okay. So I'm just saying that because that right there, what Dre's talking about, just proves my point again. Again, I'm only saying this because we were talking about what a godly man looks like, a topic that Dre wanted to discuss. And so we discussed it. And that's what a man looks like. A man is forgiving, right? A man is inviting, forgiving, knows how to move forward, right? Understands when it's water under a bridge, right? Whatever the issue is, it's water under a bridge. It's not like you forgot that it happened, because your flesh is not going to let you forget that it happened. But again, you debate with the flesh and say, hey, I know this thing happened. Are you still doing Grit Mastery Family? Yeah, we're doing another Grit Mastery Family today, Will. We're doing another one today. Today is going to be more focused on, it's going to be pretty much the same, the same conversation we were having yesterday. But we're going to change it just a little bit. Is that okay, Will? Or you wanted to talk about something else? I mean, we could talk about something else tomorrow, but
Hey, Trot, I was thinking about this.
Yeah.
I was thinking about how many, continuing this conversation about men, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking about how many successful failures there are in this world. When I say successful failures, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about, because people measure success by like how much money you have when you die, or like how many people know your name when you die, or like positions you held, or like who you were, like all these things is how people tend to measure success. And I was just thinking about like even descaled, like coming to descaled and becoming descaled and hearing the harmony of the scriptures. And our number one mission at descaled is, everybody should know this, is very easy, is to make disciples. That is the goal. Because the goal of the believer when you're born again is just that, make disciples. If you're not making disciples, then you're not being very successful in what God destined you to do when you were on this earth. So if you never got around to doing and being what you were destined to do, which is make disciples, then you end up, there's a lot of people who end up dying and they're successful failures.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that, like, man, I don't want to be a successful failure at all. Like, you can't measure success by a wallet. You can't measure success by, physical attributes. You can't measure success by the square footage of your home. You can't measure success by all the smiles you get on TikTok and the pictures you hang on your wall, your family. None of this is actually the measurement of success.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of
the measurement,
unfortunately,
the measurement of success. And the Bible actually explains this almost in every story that's in the Bible. And again, it seems very insignificant. It doesn't look like it's the entirety of the Bible, but it is. It's the entirety. It's the whole picture of the entire Bible, the whole thing. And to make it short is obviously for us to come to the tree of life. That's what did it say? That the two cherubims and a fiery sword were put there for what? What's the reason? There's a reason. To keep the way to the tree of life. So for all these people that read the Bible that don't understand that after these two cherubims and the fiery sword was put there, the rest of the Bible was written after these words, to keep the way to the tree of life. It seems so insignificant, but nothing was written after that for any other reason. It was all written for that one purpose, to keep the way to the tree of life. What if the tree of life was just a symbolic thing? Why would there be a way to be kept if it was just symbolic? It's more than that. It's not symbolic. It's an actual thing that brings people to life. It's an actual thing. And only through that one thing can you come alive. That's the only thing. It's the only thing. Oh, hey. And then, and not only that, well, before I digress, but because of what Dre's talking about, what success is. Success in the entire Bible is for us to be grafted into that tree and be bountiful in our fruit. Your vine, you are the branch, the vine that comes off the main branch, the main vine, right? Jesus said, I'm the vine, ye the branches. But our individual branch, our individual vine, when God looks at the vine, all of us that are connected to the main vine, who is Christ, because of him, all this fruit is going to be there. So he's going to be the most successful branch. But when he said some 30, some 60, some 100-fold, some of those branches off of him is going to produce more fruit than others. And that is how we look at what success is. Because our job from the very beginning was to be fruitful and multiply. And this is not telling you to go get 10 women pregnant and have a bunch of babies, and you can say, look, I'm more fruitful than all of you. Well, you better pray they all get saved, or that means you're just sending more people to hell. So you can have all the kids you want in this world, but if they don't end up in heaven with you, I'm not really sure how fruitful you were. Okay? But spiritually,
that's a bar right there.
Yeah, it is in one of my songs. I ain't lying. I was playing with it yesterday or 2 days ago. But success is the branch that you've become, how fruitful you are. And you know what's funny? These are spiritual fruit. Nobody in this world truly can recognize how successful you are. They can't see it. So you can have a big organization or you can have a big whatever. I'm gonna do something real quick, and let me see if this comes out right. Dre, can you look up? The answer should be batteries. Okay, can you look up? What is it? Oh, it's been so long since I've done this. On the internet, what is the most bought thing on the internet?
Let's see.
I don't care what the answer is. Tell the answer.
All right. The most bought things on the internet are extremely consistent worldwide, year after year. While exact rankings shift slightly, the top category has been the same for more than a decade. The most bought thing on the internet is clothing and apparel. This includes t-shirts, hoodies, pants, and dresses, shoes, sneakers, accessories, seasonal clothing, fashion statements. Runner-up is phones, earbuds, headphones, chargers, power banks, which is batteries, laptops, smartwatches.
I thought it was batteries. Maybe it was one time when I did.
It probably was at one point,
Yeah.
but since the development of the internet, now you buy clothes online. So
yeah. So okay, I don't know. Maybe it's the top 3 then, maybe or something. But it's
top 2.
Okay, top 2. Okay, so batteries is one of the most bought things on the internet, and that's because things need power, right? And again, we understand this as physical power and things of that nature. But imagine being someone who owns a battery factory. Just based on what you read, that's a successful business. Batteries. Right?
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. When you do it for just men, because women buy clothes, then it becomes electronics.
Okay, becomes electronics, which needs batteries.
So women buy clothes online. So that's the nonstop thing. But that's the reason I brought up Psalms 128, though, that the latter part of Psalms 128, where it says, and you will see your children's children, successful. That's what I was talking about, like that branch. Like, brother, if your kids are in the world and you're a man of God, then man, that's tough. I don't know how that happens. That's a tough one. But like what I was saying originally, though, like the way people define success, it's prominence, financial gain, achievements, things of that nature. And then when you really think about it, and I did kind of think about you, Trot, when I was writing some of this stuff down. I was thinking about you because I was like, yo, Trot has done a lot of stuff in his life. But if I were to ask Trot, I was thinking to myself, if I were to ask Trot, like, what is the most satisfying thing you have ever done in your life? And you've done a lot of stuff. Like, I know you well, like, right, obviously. So you've done a lot of things in your life. There pretty much isn't too much of nothing you haven't kind of experienced. I've done crazy things. I've been to a lot of places, and I'm started really thinking like, but what is the thing that brings the most satisfaction? Like, what is the thing that actually makes you successful in eternity?
Yeah.
And that's a question people have to ask themselves, because Paul, it was eternally minded. So if he's eternally minded, you could do a lot of great things in this world. You can make a lot of money. You could do all these things. You can be a superhero, or you could be the biggest gangster, whatever you think you glorify in this world. But at the end of the day, what is going to actually be eternal? And that's how you measure success, is with eternity. And then I was like, well, if I were to ask Trot, it would have to be the making of disciples is what gives eternal satisfaction.
Yeah. So I was saved around 10 or 12. I had, just think of like 1990, 1992. I would have some posters in my room of like all types of singers, you name it, from like 90, 92, any poster. It wasn't like just an individual person, but it'd be a poster with a few singers in it. You know what I mean? And I'd have a few of them. I listened to everything. I didn't listen to a whole lot of rap.
So you had like the Backstreet Boys and
yeah. Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, yeah, Britney Spears, and my room was pink with yellow flowers all over the place. Yeah. No, so like I had country singers. I had a Creed. But it wasn't just Creed. I would never get a poster that just had like one band. It'd be like 3 or 4 bands on there. It'd be like Creed. What was the one I had? Oh man.
Guns N' Roses.
I don't know. I did have a Guns N' Roses, but I don't think it was on the Creed. It was like the same kind of genre, all in the. And then I had some that had.
3 Doors Down.
Huh?
3 Doors
Green
Down.
Day.
Yeah, Green Day, 3 Doors Down. Matter of fact, I think
Rock on the Range poster.
I think Green Day and 3 Doors Down, I think they might have been on the same poster. I can't remember who it was that would make these, but I would look for that person because they would find like, and sometimes they'd mix it up, you know, it'd be 2 different genres, but the way they would put the poster together, I was like, oh man, that's really cool. And I'd have multiple posters in there. But around that time, I got saved, and I came to my room, and I never read the Bible, but I did get saved at a young age. And I went in there, and I was looking at my stuff on the walls and stuff, and I was like, you know, again, being around 12 or so, you're just kind of looking at that stuff like, you know, like, well, the church don't talk about these people, you know. You just kind of start, you know, your own critical thinking, you know. You're just kind of looking. And within a couple more days, I just started taking them down. No one told me to. I didn't have to take them down. And a guy that lived across the street from me, he came over and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "I'm just taking these down." He's like, "What are you gonna do with them?" I was like, "I'm gonna throw them away." He's like, "No, I want them." He put them all in his room. I gave him all of them. I didn't care. And a few years later, and I've probably said this a few times, but and I'm getting to what Dre's pointing at. Like, what's the greatest thing? Like you would say, the achievement or whatever. And all I knew is God used people. What that meant, what that looked like, I don't know. I'm 12, 13, you know, now 14. Hanging out with buddies that I play sports with, and a lot of them, they want to do the thing that everybody says don't do. Go drinking, go do drugs. I mean, they want to do all this stuff. I never felt led to do any of that. I don't know why. I just, the temptation from them came, but I was never white knuckling it like, oh, I need to say no to drugs or no. I was just like, nah, I'm good. I'd rather drink a chocolate milk. Like, why would I drink that? Thing tastes like crap. And they're like, what do you mean, man? It's so good. I'm like, bro, go to Brahms. I'm the only one. Yeah, I'll take a shake. Everybody in there lit. And I'm like, why am I even hanging out with you idiots? You know, can y'all sober up? We go play baseball, football, you know, the next week or whatever. And it was just like that. And I'd be in the back seat. And I'm looking at these knuckleheads thinking to myself, what the heck are these dudes doing? And, you know, it's just, there's other things that I could have been doing. And so I slowly stopped hanging out with them because I'm like, well, y'all want to go drive around? The only reason why y'all want to go drive around with you is so I can drive and y'all can do whatever y'all are doing. I'm like, nah, I'm good, man. But I remember being in the back seat the very first time, and I was just kind of looking outside. And, of course, the radio is so loud, I can't even hear myself think. But I just look outside, and I'm being dead serious. And I was like, hey, so when are you going to use me? Are you using me right now or what? You know, you got to understand, I never read the Bible. So you're going to have some very ignorant questions. And I asked about while looking up in the back seat while all this chaos is going on in this car. And I'm over here trying to put my shirt over my nose because somebody just has to. There's always a person that smokes. They're like a bad attitude. They come out of nowhere. They come out of nowhere, and they don't care if you like it. They'll blow it in your face. Like a smoker, boy, if not careful, if they know that people don't like smoke, they'll smoke more. It's bad how some of them can get. Well, anyway, I just look outside and I'm like, hey, so how's I'm having a conversation with God. I'm not drinking. I'm not high. I'm in there because I play sports with some of these knuckleheads in here. And we're hanging out. That's the only reason why I'm there. And I'm not going to just sit at the house. Like, I'm not going to just sit at the house. Like, that's just, at that time, you played sports. You just, especially in the 90s, Bubba, we were not at home. Okay? And if you were, then I don't know. Okay, unless you're playing an instrument. I had some friends that were real deep in like instruments and they would use that time. But after practice and all that, and I mean, you know, there's times that you're just going to, and that's where I was at when I went out with my buddies. And that happened every couple of years, you know, from like 14 to 16 to 17. You know, every couple of years, it happened multiple times where I was just hanging out and I happened to be in the back seat and in the front seat. I think I done it in the front. I don't know why in the front seat. I guess maybe I'm talking to the person that's driving, but if I ever ended up in the back seat, they're having conversations that I'm just like, I don't even know what y'all are talking about, honestly. And then I'll just zoom out like into space. And ask again, you know, because I'm getting older. I'm like, hey, so when are you going to use me? You know, because when you don't understand how God uses people, you're kind of waiting on him. You're like, okay, God, any day now. You'll be there. You will be there until you turn into bones, saying any day now. That's not how that works. He said, you come to him and he'll come to you. So it's a slow process, but you have to come to him first. And I guarantee there's Christians that still do this. Oh, one day my gate's going to be opened up and it's going to be overflowing. And they say all this stuff. And it's like you could have been doing what he wanted you to do years ago if you understood, right? Right? The Bible talks about lack of knowledge, right? My people perish for lack of knowledge. The knowledge is that we have to take it. That's the whole thing about this inheritance. You have to be the one to take it. If you don't take it, it's waiting until you do. It ain't waiting for you to pray more or any of that, or ask more or cry more. But Lord, I want you. You still ain't got it. You still ain't getting it. You can want him all you want. You can say, when one day, you know what? My day's coming. Listen, it's like praying and begging God for a degree, but you're not even in college. And you're like, one day that degree is going to be mine. I can understand if you're crying like that and there's like one class holding you back and you keep failing it. I can at least say, well, I understand why they're crying. That sucks. Like, you're just stupid. You can't, you know, for whatever reason, you can pass everything else, but you can't pass that one class. But I tell you keep going to that class, you're going to pass it. It's just a matter of time. You're going to pass that class. I can get that. But a person that's never attended and you're at home crying that you want a degree and you're crying, you're not understanding how things work. But going back to what Dre's saying, when he's like, hey, what's your greatest, you know, success? The Bible tells us that, go to the verse, somebody find it, where the Bible is telling us, why do you still hope for something if you already got it? How does Paul say it?
Let me look it up.
I probably should have changed the color of that.
Romans 8:24. It says, for who hopes for what he already has?
Yeah. Who hopes for what he already has? Like, if you're hoping for something and you get it, are you still sitting there hoping for it? The answer is no. You should not be having hope for something you already have. So if you already have Christ, which is the answer to any prayer, I don't care what prayer, Minister Sarah, let's see. And what is the gospel that saves the soul? If any other gospel is preached, yes, 1 Corinthians 15, that's the gospel, right? The death, burial, and resurrection of Christ. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Sarah, do you just go around putting that in everybody's thing? Are you talking to somebody in the comment or what? Yeah, that's the gospel. Yeah. Death, burial, resurrection. I don't see a question mark there. So I don't know. Maybe that, you know, because you have these people like they do drive-by ministry. You ever seen that on TikTok?
Yeah, I've seen them, bro.
They go in there and they're like, in the name of Jesus, you better pout. And they go to the next one.
They're doing copy paste. They're not even typing it. They already have it copy pasted, and they go to the next live, copy paste, next live, copy paste, next live, copy paste.
Yeah, they're just like these drive-by.
The worst is when you see it in the comments sections of random videos. Like a copy paste, Jesus loves you, he died for you. Next, someone else makes a comment, same person, copy paste, Jesus loves you, he died for you.
Yeah. So it's the Christians, the drive-by ministry that on TikTok.
Well, I'd rather the drive-by ministry than the crime ministry, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny to watch both of them go at it, though, honestly. Because they both agree on the same thing. It's just they're in arguing mode, so they don't stop arguing.
So Romans 8:24.
Yeah.
Is that word hope? Is that word hope in Romans the same word hope? I would have to look it up, but I'm assuming.
Look it up.
Look it up. Yeah, but it's the same hope that's in Hebrews. Then faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen.
Let's look it up. Let's see
if it is.
Let's look it up. Well, it doesn't matter if it is or not. Honestly, it's the context of the Bible itself tells us what this hope is. But let's look it up.
Romans 8:24. Uh, 8:24. Hope. G 1680. Elepis, El Pese,
El Presidente,
something like that. I can't stand the Greek. I can't. I really don't like it.
You say El Pese?
It means hope. It means expectation of evil, fear, expectation of good, hope.
Yeah.
In the Christian
and what's
sense,
what's the Greek word?
El Pese.
All right, now go look up the other hope you're talking about. Just for everybody.
Let's see if it's in here.
And you might as well give the definition of that other hope. Ooh, Bubba, I'm making the brisket today.
Oh, man, don't tell me that, man.
It is going down. I'm going to sous vide that bad boy. It's for a party. I'm going to sous vide it. I don't know why I need to sous vide ours. I don't know why I don't. I think I just don't because I don't have to, I guess.
By faith, but without faith it is impossible to please him. And Lord, faith, faith. Oh, here it is. Sorry, it's the first one. Duh. Hope. There you go. Hope. Substance of things. Oh, so it says of things hoped for, which is el pedzo, which is to hope in a religious sense or wait for salvation with joy, with full confidence, hopefully to trust in.
Yeah. So the hope that's being used there when it's talking about faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dre, what does it mean again?
To hope. It says in a religious sense, to wait for salvation with joy and full confidence.
Yeah. So faith is a substance, and the word hope that's being used there happens to be talking about salvation when it's talking about. But either way, so back to what we were talking about, where Paul says that if you're hoping for something, once you get it, he's trying to make this real clear. Like, it makes no sense to still hope for it. So if someone already has Christ, I'm telling you, whatever prayer you prayed to God, right, when you were praying and you were saying, I need you, the answer is Christ to everybody's prayer. Whatever it is you're crying for, the answer is Christ. So most Christians receive Christ, and because their feelings still feel the same, they don't feel like their prayer was answered. So they still hope for it. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense anywhere. Right, but the point I'm making is, at that young age that I was telling you that I'm looking out the window and I'm like, hey, so how's this work? Like, you going to use me, or am I just supposed to hang out with these knuckleheads forever, or what? Like, what's going on? It's just me talking to him. And so I hoped for that for a very long time because I didn't understand how it worked. I literally thought I'm just waiting until it happens. That's what I thought. So from age 12, I hoped that he would use me. And so it wasn't till, 32, basically. I'm somewhere around that age, but, or it could have been 30, 32, if I did the numbers. But basically 20 years. So for 20 years, I hoped for something. And it never came because I didn't understand that I had to take it. I didn't understand that. But I'm trying to show you, I truly, from the bottom of my heart, that's all I was hoping for. So when I finally picked up the Bible, don't you think God knows how long you've been hoping for something? Do you understand? Do you think he knows like how long? So for 20 years, life is going on. And I remember after high school, and I've talked about this before, but high school's done and I'm sitting on my pickup truck and it's the last day of school for me, last day. And I just sat there and watched everybody leave. All people I've talked to, teachers. There was a couple of cars in the parking lot that were left when it was already getting dark. I just sat there and just thought about that whole thing. And I'm like, well, that's done. That's done. I drove away and I saw it in the rearview mirror. I said the same thing. Well, you going to use me or what? Like, what are we doing? Like, never read the Bible. You understand? I got saved. I became a convert, never read the Bible. Not one time. Never picked it up and read it. Ever. Just heard it. I knew the message was true. I believed it. Never read the Bible. I joined the military. Same thing. I'm in Iraq, sitting on like a sand dune thing, kind of, and I'm looking up. Same thing. It's the same person communicating with him. Like, hey, so I could die tomorrow. You gonna use me or what? I'm not lying. Same thing. I never forgot the hope that I had. Never. It was always the plan. Always. And, that night I'm just looking at the same stars that I was looking at back home, same ones. Then before you know it, that year out there is done. We're flying away. I'm looking at Iraq's back there and I'm like, well, nothing happened over there. I go over there again, same thing. Bad firefight or something happens. I'm laying down. I find me a sand dune thing, get on top of it, look up there. I'm like, hey, so you gonna use me or what? Never read the Bible. Saved. Hope. Hold on. So the same hope. It's the same hope. I'm hoping for something I still don't have. Not understanding that I actually have. I actually have it. But if you don't use it, it'd be no effect for you. None. Same thing. And this goes on and on for years until one day I was just like, in a way, tired of waiting. I don't know how else to explain it. Been waiting for 20 years. I'm like, well, it ain't going to hurt to read the Bible. So in a way, it's like, I guess, I learned the hard way, of just sitting here waiting and waiting. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to read the Bible. So I picked it up and read it. And man, it just took off. It took off. And so when I read Paul saying this, that if you're hoping for something, once you have it, why are you still hoping? And that resonated because I said, that makes sense because that's exactly what I was doing for 20 years. I was doing that for 20 years. I was hoping for it. There ain't nothing wrong with hope. But whenever you get what you hoped for, once you get that, that's success. Because we're talking about success and what's true success. Well, and Dre's like, well, you've done a lot of things. Like, well, out of all your things, what's the best thing? Well, I started hoping for this around 12. You understand? So that to me, that's always been the best thing. So even though I was doing all these things, that thing was always the best. Always. I just didn't know how to grasp it. But to me, that's the best thing. But while I'm waiting, I'm going to do all these other things. And so even while all these other things were going on, you have to understand the first seed that was ever planted in me to be successful was that. So I just never watered it. It was never, I didn't allow it to grow, but it was right there waiting for me to make it grow, to take some responsibility towards it. So to answer Dre's question, there's no better way than to just be honest about what he's asking. And that is, all these things were never, first in my life. At age 12, that was the first hope, goal, success. That was it, is for God to use me ever since I was around 12 years old. But again, I didn't know how to grasp it. People can say, yeah, you go to Bible college and you do this. I don't know. God is not tangible. We can try to make him as tangible as we want, but he's not tangible. And so all the other schools and stuff that I was doing in my head, I'm just going to do that while I'm waiting, so, but the greatest thing was for that hope to finally come to pass. That's the greatest thing, because everything else that I put my mind to do, whether it's join the service, be an officer, all these other things, it started with hope. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna push to do that, and then it's accomplished. And then I'm gonna push to do that, and it's accomplished. And it's kind of like slowly I was seeing that there's no way I could have done any of these things unless I'm the one that went to do it. I had to go to school to learn how to do this. I had to go to school to learn how to do that. And then so as a 12-year-old, it's not hard to understand that at 12, you may not know how everything works. So I had to learn how everything works. I have to go take it. If I want to do this, I got to go take it. And so it all just kind of met itself at that one point where I was like, well, I guess I could start reading the Bible. And I started reading it, and it's kind of like, oh, okay. I could have been doing this a long time ago. I just didn't know. I didn't know. But because that hope was growing in me, right? It never died, that hope. As soon as I started reading the Bible, that's all I needed, because everything else was given to me that I needed. I just had to read that bad boy. So Dre's question was, what would, out of all the things you've done, what would you claim was your biggest success? Well, being used by God is the biggest success, but I want to be honest that thing was planted in me 20 years before I started doing it. It planted in me. It was something that I held on deeply to, and I never let it go. No matter what I was doing, I always would look up and say, hey, when is this supposed to happen? It's kind of like I heard a word of the Lord. Like if you want to look at it that way, that I heard that God can use anyone, okay? And I believed it. And because he can use anyone, then he can use me. And there ain't nothing you're going to say at that point to change my mind. Nothing. I don't care. As soon as I knew that was true, oh, he can use anyone? Oh, okay, well then he can use me. And at that day, at 12, I became his favorite. I'm just saying, don't be mad. I'm just saying. I was like his second Abraham. He's like, come, you worthless Gentile. I have great. He will see how much he will suffer. I just never let it go. Right. So talking about like your greatest accomplishment.
Funny about you talking about this stuff.
Do what?
I always think about it. It's so crazy. But obviously we don't have the same exact stories. We did different things in the military, but it's so funny. Every time I hear you talk, it's like a resemblance of my life. Like it's so weird. I don't know how to explain this, but it's the weirdest thing. I've seen this happen several times now that when you talk, I'm like, it's so weird because I went through a lot of the same stuff you're talking about around the same age. It wasn't posters because my dad wouldn't let me put up posters. That's idolatry. We can't do that, right? But my dad would never let me put up a poster in my house. And that's impossible. But the similarity is that I would have like CDs and I would hide my CDs, right? Because if my mom saw my CDs of music, I would get in trouble. My mom would break them herself. And like, I remember like at that, right around that same age, I had like my stash of secret CDs that I used to listen to, right?
Hey, you're like, No fingerprints. Look at that. No
Yes. I used to hide them under the bed, bro. I used to put them in my drawers in the very back. And I remember one day I was just like, I just it didn't feel right. I was like, I want God to use me. Like I wanted God to use me. And I was funny. I was looking at some of my old Marine Corps stuff, and one in that stuff was my baptism picture when I was like, I must have been like 12 when I decided to do this. Right. My mom didn't tell me I had to go get baptized. I wanted to get baptized. And the same thing, I took all the CDs and I brought them to the church, and I remember handing them to the pastor, whole bag. He's like, "What's this?" I said, "I don't want these anymore. Like they're ruining my life. Can you take these away from me?" And he like took them and threw them away, and
they're ruining. He broke them.
He like broke them and threw them away. But it was kind of the same experience. Like, yo, what are you doing with that? Everybody in the church is like, what is he doing? Like, I was like, I don't want these anymore. Except I didn't give them away. People were like, oh, let me get that. I was like, nah, man, why would I give it to you? Like, I need this. This needs to be gone, right? And then, but it's funny because that was one of the times, and like I must have been like right around that same time. I had to sing a song in church, and I don't know how to explain it, bro. And I know we're not talking about feelings and all this other stuff. That wasn't a feeling. That I felt something in my life that day when I was singing in front of the church. And I can't sing worth the daggone, but I remember the name of the song. I remember how the song went. The song was, Lord, hold me and mold me and guide me each day. You are the potter and I am the clay. And that's about as far as I got. And I started crying. Like I was listening to You Are My Garden. Same feeling. Like I just started crying, and everybody made fun of me at the church for the rest of my time there before I went to the Marine Corps. Everybody made fun. Yeah, you remember you, Dre, when you started, you are the, you're a crybaby.
And you're like, yeah, but I was being serious. Like I wasn't, I didn't just go up there to sing. Like I was being serious.
Yeah, I was.
Because there's people that go up there, it doesn't mean they don't love God, but they just go up there to sing. And there's other people that while they're up there singing, like they're really thinking about what they're saying. There's a difference sometimes, but
yeah.
But yeah, so
I had crazy, like I used to have dreams of like preaching. Like one of the main dreams that I had as a kid all the time was I was like in the Middle East preaching, like crazy. And I remember the last time I went to Pakistan, I was sitting there and that dream, it just came back again. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like I thought of this, like I wanted this. And like you said, I mean, we're talking about 36 years old when I went to Pakistan the last time, something like that, late 30s. But it happened, and it's like but again, it wasn't like I used to always think. Even till this day, sometimes I'm like, yo, I want to like go there, I want to go here, like I want to. Especially now, like I linked up with you, and I keep telling you, like, bro, go get your passport. I don't know how this is gonna happen, but we're gonna do this thing around the world. I see it.
Hey, if I told you the story about my old passport, bro, you'd be like, well, what? I'm like, I'm just saying what happened. That's what happened. It had to happen. Let me just make it real clear. It had to happen. It did, and I ain't went and got a. Anyway, yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah, but
it's gonna happen though.
Yeah.
I got a phone call.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. So, and we're like I said, we're still talking about, what does it look like to be a godly man, and we're transitioning into what does it look like to be a godly woman, right? Which 100% is going to transition to, how a man's supposed to treat a woman, how a woman's supposed to treat a man, and we were just talking to Dre right now. The focus was kind of like, what does real success look like? And everybody will say, oh, well, success is this and that. Look, when it boils down to it, everything that we see, even here with our own eyes, whether it's fallen or not, it all came from the Spirit, right? Not the other way around. This world did not breathe God into existence. It's the other way around. It was Him that breathed everything. He spoke it, right, with His breath into existence. And success is based on what God says success is. And that is you being a fruitful vine, right? And that is you multiplying, right? Be fruitful and multiply. That is the gospel. The gospel is the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ, who is the vine, right? We are grafted into Him, and only through Him can we be fruitful, right? Not of ourselves, but through Him. And so being fruitful is making disciples. That's what being fruitful is, That's why he said, go ye and make disciples. So that is, and God is the only one that can see how fruitful you are. We can try, we can try, we can kind of see, but we can't see it the way God can see it. We can't. All right. But we know that we're being fruitful. Individually, you know whether you're being fruitful. Now, could you be fooled to believe that you're being fruitful based on some wrong doctrine? Yeah, you can. And you can be a 30-fold, or maybe you just like to argue instead of make disciples. Maybe instead of being 30-fold, maybe you're 10. You're still saved. The point Jesus is making is that there are going to be people who make more disciples than others, period. That's facts. And how fruitful you want to be, that's on you. That's on you. You know, sitting here and just answering questions, right? People think that as a Christian, that right, they come on these lives right here and they're like, okay, next question. And then they bring the question and it's like, okay, and they just sit there and just answer questions all day. That's not making disciples. You're not making disciples because you're showing people that you understand some Bible and you're answering their questions. That's not making disciples. Having 50,000 people follow you because you say good things about the Bible, that's not making disciples. I don't understand what these people like. That's not making disciples. You can call it making disciples all you want, but it's not. But it's when people hear what you're saying to the point that they're going to put themselves under your wing so you can disciple them individually, and your branch becomes more fruitful, and their branch off of your branch becomes more fruitful. And it's a continuous thing, and it never stops, and it keeps going. And their goal is to make a disciple. It's not just to show, hey, look, I know how to read Bible better than everybody else. I can exegete scripture. Exegete scripture is not making disciples. That's where you start. It's a baby step of getting to the point where you can just make disciples. But having, yourself on social media, arguing with people that you happen to memorize more scripture. So you're just waiting for someone to slip and say something wrong about the Bible. So you can say, oh, that's not what it says in Romans, da, da, da. And then everybody's watching you like you're just a bunch of entertainment people. You're entertainment for them.
My heifer.
Hey, can y'all hear me? Guys? What? We can. Oh, it's not. Hold on a second. Yeah. Is that better? Or now, maybe?
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. So anyway, so what is success? Success is how fruitful you've become. Be fruitful and multiply. God is just not telling Adam and Eve to have a bunch of physical kids. That's not what he's telling them. Why do you think Paul and some of the people in the Bible, in the New Testament, you hear them, the way they talk about spiritual children? You understand? So Paul 100% understood what it meant to be fruitful and multiply. If Paul read the Bible like it was all just a physical thing, he would have been married and he would have had 200 kids. Y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
And he didn't.
Would have been Muslim.
No, he could have been, he wouldn't have been Muslim. He would have been what he was, but him being physically married and having 200 kids with multiple wives, you would be able to tell that he saw scripture very physical, because having 200 kids would show that he 100% believed that being fruitful and multiply is talking about having physical kids, right? Wouldn't his lifestyle show that? But
he says, "You are my joy and crown."
Right, but instead we see him talking about spiritual children. So when people say, "Oh no, the stuff y'all are saying, that's not how Paul," there's so many ways that you can see how Paul saw the Bible. You can see it. He doesn't have to tell you. You can see it. Spiritual children. So they go, well, so spiritual children, look, but that's scripture. Yeah, bro, but in the Old Testament, where is that scripture like that? The only place we really see it is when God tells Adam and Eve, be fruitful and multiply. And Paul is saying, just by his lifestyle, by making quote unquote spiritual children, he's saying he understands what that meant now. You understand? Jordan, what were you going to say? I just wasn't done talking.
No, you're good. I just what I brought up when Paul says, "You are my joy and crown." He's speaking of the people he's discipled. Yep. Like that's his joy, bearing fruit, spiritual fruit.
Yeah, true.
I think even the Proverbs talks about people being a joy and a crown. I was looking it up. Hold on.
Well, while he's looking that up, so, what does it look like to be a godly woman? Again, yesterday we talked about what does it look like to be a godly man, and we kind of, I pretty much beat the brakes off that. I'm sure there might have been some things I left out, but overall, not really. I kind of got to the point of it, but regarding a godly woman, right, it's going to reflect what we already talked about, right? What does it look like to be a godly woman? What it looks like is she puts herself under her man of the things of God, right? So there's a lot of, people that doesn't believe that Jesus was the Messiah, right? They don't believe that. They're going to stick to their Jewish beliefs, which means they're not going to leave any room for like what they call mysticism. It's mystic, right? They're not going to leave any they're not going to leave any room for that because they're not going to let their mind stray away from the black letters on a white page. They're going to stick to that. So these type of people, if not careful, women, let me say this to you. Be careful who you're marrying. Be careful, because a person that kind of thinks like, right, they don't want to think mystic, right? They don't want to think mystic. They want to stay black letters on a white page. A lot of times on accident, they kind of mistreat their women. It's facts. It's facts. Because they truly don't believe that Jesus was the Messiah. So whenever the Bible says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church, they take that, right? They notice that I left the part out on purpose, okay? But they take that and they'll say things to you like, well, if I correct my woman, it's love. That's love. God corrects you. Doesn't Jesus correct you? That's love. And it's like, wow, that's not what that verse is talking about. Like, wow, how neat that you were able to on purpose leave out a huge part of this verse, because it says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. As. Somebody look up the word as, A-S, in the dictionary. What does it mean? What does as mean? No, Keith, not like God loved us, not like, no. As Christ loved the church, loved, ed, loved. Like, meaning he's already done it.
Okay.
Probably the same way.
It says used. Okay.
What does as mean?
Got it?
What does it mean? Go
All
ahead.
right. Used to indicate what something happens. Sorry. That something happens during a time when something is taking place. Used to indicate by comparison the way that something happens or is done.
Okay, something happens or is done in comparison, right? Comparison, ain't that what you said?
Yep.
So if it's comparing, meaning it's the same. So husbands, love your wives as Christ loved, ed, past tense, meaning he's already done it. He's not in the motions of still doing it. But people that try to put themselves under the law, see, the law's never done. You understand? It's never done. Why? Because tomorrow's a new day. It's not a new day for grace. It's not a new day under Christ. It's a new day that you need to watch what you're doing. You could get stoned tomorrow, right? But it says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave his life for her. Gave his life. How many times did he give his life for the church? One time. Somebody help me understand this. When Christ was on the cross, was he telling the sinner, hey, stop sinning? Was he telling the guy on the cross, hey, endure to the end, stop sinning? Was he on the cross saying, guys, please stop sinning, run for sin, I'm about to die. Please, before I die, it's your last chance. Run from sin. John, go give me a megaphone. Hurry up, find some cardboard and roll it up so I can scream from the top of my lungs, stop sinning. Or did he say, forgive them, for they know not what they do? This is such a hard concept for people that try to put themselves under the law, or they like to mistreat their wives, and they try to use Christ to help them do that by saying, yeah, husbands, love your wives as Christ did. No, it doesn't say as Christ did. That's not what it says. It says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave his life for her. He gave his life for her. You understand? He gave his life for her. What does the Bible say? He that seeks his life, what?
Loses it.
This world will lose it.
And what's the other part of that?
He who gives his life will find it.
All right. So when your wife offends you, what are you supposed to do? Seek for your own or give your life for her?
Lay yours down.
Okay. So when she's being stupid because she's on her freaking period, you don't find that as an excuse to say, hey, now hold on. You calm down. See, you're doing too much. You're doing extra. You're being extra right now. No. No. You tell your flesh, because you're supposed to be a man of God, you tell your flesh to shut up. That's what you do. That's you dying. That's you dying to the flesh. You understand? That is you dying to the flesh because your flesh is saying, oh, no, you're not going to offend me. Woman, listen, you're wrong. Listen. Every guy is going to have a small moment, okay, where you're like, hey, man, calm down, chill out. Every guy's going to have that small moment. But notice I said small, meaning the one that needs to override that is the soul telling the flesh, like, literally, like, hey, bro, why are you, she does this every month, bro. Why are you surprised every month? This is how you know you're dealing with the boy. He's surprised every month. It still ain't clicked. Do you think Jesus is surprised, right? Because he's our head. Do you think Jesus is surprised when the husband fails? Huh? Is Jesus surprised? Like, now, Trot, now, we need to talk. Is that what he did on the cross? Was he saying, hey, back there in the back, hey, we need to talk. No. All the people that were there, bro, around him, except for Mary and John, all those people were calling him names, throwing things at him. And what did he do? Did he get offended and come off the cross and be like, you know what? That's enough. Lightning bolt. Is that what did he correct them? Did he use that as an opportunity to correct them? Say, hey, guys, come on. I'm already up here. Golly, for God's sake, for my sake, for God's sake, for my sake, Lord have mercy. Golly, enough is enough. I'm going to die here in the next few hours. Stop throwing stuff at me. No, but that's what this man is doing when he claims that he has to correct his wife. I have to correct her. I have to correct, correction is love too. So you don't correct. Look, does God correct you? But we're talking about on the cross, bro. On the cross. How come he wasn't doing a lot of correcting? You know why? Because it was time to go bye-bye for him. It was time to die. And that's what this is calling you to do. Every day it's time for you to die, but you don't want it to die, which means you're going to go to some verse to help you be more legalistic instead of you just doing what he says to do right here. Meaning you can choose the law because it's there to choose, or you can choose him. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave his life for her. That's what he did in love. He loved the church by giving his life for her.
Can I read a verse?
Yeah.
Or passage?
Mm-hmm.
So this is 1 Peter 2, starting at verse 21, and it says, for even hereunto were you called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that you should follow in his steps. Verse 22 talks about his steps, and it says, who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth, who, when he was reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judges righteously, who his own self bare our sins in his own body on the tree, that we, being dead to sins, should live unto righteousness, by whose stripes you were healed. So right there it shows, Jesus didn't open his mouth to bring correction. He laid his life down.
So every day when the Bible says that we must die to ourselves, this is talking about you as a man. You have to be able to recognize when the boy is being offended and tell the boy in you to shut up. If not, then my friend, I'm sorry, whoever you are, Christ is not your head. Are you saved? I believe you are, and I believe you're going to heaven, but you're not doing a very good example of dying to yourself. Dying to yourself is not you trying to make sure that life is comfortable. When life is not comfortable, the man notices, wow, this crazy woman is, she's not allowing things to be comfortable, right? Because she's just some crazy old hag. I mean, I don't know. Do you even know why she's in your house? I don't know. Sometimes I got to ask, hey, who's that crazy lady lives in your house? Well, I mean, I don't know. Are y'all married? Like, I'm not really understanding this idea that she needs to be corrected all the time. Listen, there's times I'll see, my wife doing something in public, and I just kind of look at her, and I know it's the little boy in me, like, why are you doing that? She'll pick up on it. Bro, it was just a look. And she's like, why are you looking at me like that? Well, at this point, I'm not going to lie. Listen, just don't lie. I don't care if she gets mad. Don't lie. Don't do that. Bro, they got like 7 senses, okay? Guys, we got 5. They got 7, okay? Just don't lie. Just say, well, it used to bother, those kind of things used to bother me. What? Are you saying they're bothering you now? Just don't lie, bro. Just be like, I think so. Well, how dare you call me out on that? Okay, now we can start being honest. Say, well, I didn't, but I was tempted to. I'm sorry. That's it. What's so hard about that? Don't be like, oh, no, That look meant nothing. No, don't do that, bro. Don't do that. Just say it. Or say whatever the heck it is. Say, oh, well, that kind of stuff used to bother me. You know, like for instance, I dated a girl years ago and she'd freaking eat her peas one at a time. There's actually an episode on Seinfeld that talks about this. And I'm like, are these people watching me? Like, it bothered me. She would, and that's just not just peas, corn or whatever. She'd eat one at a time. Like, bro, you got like 50 corn right there. 50 peas. What you doing? Like, we got to go. You're sitting there eating one at a time. Again, it's the boy. You understand? The boy just, he you know, he talks a lot, you know, like he just says stuff all the time. But again, when you grow up, okay, you know, you have to be able to recognize, all right, I'm not saying that. That's stupid. That's it. Okay. But on this day, we are out dinner and she is doing something. And I was like, I'm not going to say what it is, but I was like, what are you doing? You know, in my head. But she's like, hey, why are you looking at me like that? Well, she's too late. She done seen it. I was like, because that stuff used to bother me. What? And I told her, oh, well, why? I don't know why. I don't know. But I remember the younger me with that stuff. Well, that was a pet peeve of mine. It used to get on my nerves. So sometimes she'll do it in front of me on purpose and just kind of look at me. You know, she's not trying to push my buttons. Me and her, trust me, awesome, great relationship. But she knows because, and you can ask her, because of descaled, okay? She knows that I can still on accident allow that little boy even to make a face or whatever. And then I gotta, hey, whoa, bro, calm down. I'll come call you when I'm playing freaking a video game or something. You know, you got to know where to place that little dude. You don't let the little dude override the man. That's not what you don't do. And then try to convince everybody else, oh, well, you know, whenever my wife, you know, you got to correct her. That's love too. Correction is love. Are you saying correction is not love? What? What are you talking about? Again, the verse says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave his life. The type of love he's talking about is giving your life. That's the kind of love he's talking about. That's it. And giving your life is you shutting your mouth. You'll know if the woman is taking what you're doing as a weakness and kind of, abusing you. You'll know. But until that happens, you need to do what Jesus is telling you to do. I'm telling you, a woman will follow you without you even trying if you just follow this right here. Now, if you got a no good for nothing woman, then my friend, it's going to be a long ride. I don't know what else to tell you. Okay, it's going to be a long ride. And guess what? Too late, you married her. You understand? Too late. So you just do this right here and pray that she comes to her senses, that this is what you're doing. When a woman can recognize that you're acting like Christ, you're shutting your mouth, you're not saying something every 5 minutes, when she can see that, let me tell you something. Let me tell you. I'm being dead serious. This is how you'll know. This will be a sign right here. And I'm being dead serious. This will be a sign when you know that you're doing more shutting your mouth than you are of trying to correct and try to bring things up and all this stuff. This is how you know. If your wife gives you hugs out of nowhere, my friend, listen. If she gives you a hug out of nowhere and she doesn't say nothing, don't ruin it and say, hey, why are you hugging me? Don't ruin it. Tell the boy to shut up. Let her get her hug out the way. Sometime my wife will come up to me, she'll hug me, and I'll just sit there. I'll just sit there and wait. And sometimes she don't let go for a minute. But when she does let go, I let her go. She doesn't want you to ask why the heck she's there is a reason they're hugging you. And it's because they know they're understanding the verse now on why we're told, husbands, love your wives. When they pick up on why God is telling them, hey, can you just love her anyway? And then you look at her like, what's kind of... But if God was to mirror that and say, hey, now watch this. I love you anyway. And you're like, well, what do you mean? You know, what what's wrong with me? I'm just, God's going to say, well, you don't think at times I look at you like, what is wrong with you? You don't think Jesus is tempted. I'm not talking about by Satan. I'm talking about the way we understand temptation, okay? Like through his head. You don't think he thinks to himself, what is wrong with you? Of course, but just not the way we do to each other here. But I'm saying he knows what the issue is. This is what makes it real easy for him to just love us anyway. So again, the reason he's our head is so we can see how to lead. You understand? And once we see how he leads, which is what? Be honest. Just think about thoughts. Just think about stuff that you do as a man. Just think about it. And he sees everything you're doing. He sees and hears everything. And yet he loves you anyway. He's still your head. He doesn't remove himself from your head. And then you have your wife, and you're tempted to be opposite than he is to you. That's how you know you're a liar. You're a liar now. Now you're a hypocrite too. You're a liar. You're a hypocrite, because the fact that he's your head is what should make it easy for you to be the head of your woman. Should make it easy, because he's always forgiven you, and you know darn well you need forgiveness every day. You know that. So when he says, hey, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave his life, which means he shut his mouth and he understands what the issue. You're supposed to understand as a man. If you're always pointing to how you need to be correcting your woman all the time, like, well, she needs correction and she's got to do this. Listen, every guy's going to get tempted to do that every once in a while. But in the 90 percentile, you need to be shutting your mouth. I'm saying all this to say, you'll know if you're doing it right, because out of nowhere, she'll come find you and just give you a hug. Something reminded her. I don't care if it was a song. I don't care what it was. Something reminded her of how you really are, and they'll just go give you a hug. It's kind of like you, the man. You understand? Throughout your day, something reminds you on how he just loves you anyway. He may not be tangible, but very quickly you can be like, oh man, how good you are. You'll say it. You'll say it. Now, obviously the women, they have their own relationship with him, but I'm saying we go to our head and give him a hug. If you don't ever say to yourself at least once a day, like, oh, man, you're too good. If you don't ever say that, I don't know, man, like that. I don't care if it's just once a day. Once is enough. You don't got to say it 50,000 times a day. Okay. You don't have to have false humility. I say it to him at least once a day. Yeah. Sometimes it's more than that, but I know how good he is. That's that hug. That's why she's hugging you, because you're actually here. But she's saying to herself, man, he's such a good man. And she knows why he puts up with this. The women are going to be honest to themselves. Most of them, they'll be honest. And they'll be like, yeah, he puts up with a lot of crap and he doesn't even say nothing. Okay, so where are you learning that from? Where are you learning that from? So either you're God or you're learning it from God. It's one or the other. Either you're God, like you just automatically know how to be amazing, or you're paying attention to who's your head, right? So this is the order of fashion. He's our head. And he's always looking at us like, oh, don't worry about it. You'll be all right. Everything's fine. Again, I'm using very vague language, but he's always there no matter what. And so when a man is truly, now, if a man is legalistic, right, he'll use words like this: correction, God corrects, right? Listen, I know what the Bible says, but what I'm saying is your mind needs to be more focused on God's love for you, not focused on the correcting part, the legalistic part. And so when people try to mix it and they go, well, there's a balance there. That balance you're talking about is in this world, and I understand that, but there is not a balance between law and grace. There's no balance. You either enter heaven through one or you enter heaven through the other. There is no mixing it. And what they're trying to do, they're trying to take their life in this world and they're trying to take the law and grace and mix them and say, well, it makes sense in this world. In God's world, it's not fallen. God doesn't live in a fallen world. We do. So the law that you're trying to bring up in this fallen world, that doesn't exist in God's world. Everyone's already made their choice in heaven. There's not going to be 10 commandments in every, and again, I'm being facetious, but God doesn't have 10 commandments in the schools in heaven, okay? You don't go to the movie theater in heaven and there's 10 commandments there. You don't see 10 commandments everywhere in heaven, okay? Again, I'm being facetious in the way I'm explaining it, but this is how people portray heaven, as though that God has 10 commandments everywhere. You're walking around, there's 10. Instead of a flag, it's a big stone tablets flying in the air, and every morning we raise the 10 commandments. That's a lie. It's not true. That's not in this world, okay? In this fallen world, I can understand why people say, well, it's balanced. I get it. I understand. If you have a kid and you want to tell them no, I get all that. But Paul said when he was a kid, he thought like a kid. But when he became an adult, he thought like an adult. What these people are trying to teach is you stay a kid the whole time. That's a lie. That's not biblical. If you're still acting like a kid and you're in your 40s and 50s and you're still acting like a kid, my friend, that's your fault. That's your fault. That's not because you are a kid and God's got to hold the law account. No, sir. No, absolutely not. That's nothing can be further from the truth. It's not true. I don't know. I thought I saw a question.
Hey, Chad, I got a question. Is that cool?
Trent, what's up, man? I ain't seen you in a minute. How's everything going?
Everything is good.
Awesome.
Yeah, usually I'm on the lives. I don't really come up. I just listen from the bottom. But
yeah,
I got a question today. Is that cool?
Yeah, man. Is it regarding family or?
It's regarding basically the whole correction part.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm humble enough to say that this might be a bad trait in me or something that I might have difficulties in, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm the type of person that doesn't mind getting corrected. If I'm wrong, then I don't mind, right?
Yeah, right.
But here's the thing. There's something about me where, for example, let's say I'm put in a situation, right, where the other person, for example, thinks that, oh, what I did was wrong. My brain automatically goes to the side where I have to keep on explaining why I am not wrong and why I'm this and why I'm that. And sometimes I do present evidence, for example. Like I would go to that person, let's say, for example, where I'm just giving this has not happened, but this is just a random example. Let's say I'm playing basketball with a buddy of mine, right?
Yeah.
And I'm shooting.
Oh,
my
and
shot.
that's a problem right there. You need to go play golf. No, I'm playing. Go ahead, bro. Go.
No. But let's.
It's too physical, man. It's too. Hey, you're gonna go home and be like, okay, go. Listen, you ain't standing in the right spot. All right, go ahead.
That caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Anyways, so let's say I'm playing basketball with my buddy, right? And I shoot a shot, and he comes to me and he's like, listen, the way you shot that shot is incorrect. Your stance was wrong, for example.
Right.
But I know, for example, there's a reason why I shot this way, or at least I know I shoot this way because I know what's right. And that person refuses to, for example, listen that, hey, I'm right. So I sometimes either over-explain what I did, and why, for example, I think what I did was correct. And sometimes I go to the extent of I don't stop explaining until I actually present evidence. And sometimes I do present concrete evidence on why, for example, this or that has happened. But I do have, I don't want to say issue because that's not really a nice thing to say, but I think so I do have this sort of problem where I have the tendency of over-explaining myself because I have this thought in my head where if I don't explain myself and I don't show that person why what I did was not the wrong thing, I don't want that person to think I lack any type of knowledge or, for example, I'm AKA dumb. That's why I tend to really over-explain why I do something.
Yeah.
Where I don't like it when, for example, someone says like, hey, listen, you're wrong, unless I know I'm wrong, right? Or, for example, at least when that person explains how I'm wrong. When a person comes and says, for example, hey, you know what, you're wrong, and they actually explain with like pure evidence why I'm wrong, then yes, I'm humble enough to be like, you know what, cool, you're right.
Yeah.
But there are times where like I, for example, do something that I know that is right, and that person tends to see it as wrong. How should I approach a situation like that?
Yeah. So I'll just, so the whole long-winded thing, right, what you're explaining, you're pretty much saying like, because there's two things you're saying. You're saying someone is saying you're doing something wrong, and not only are you just saying, no, what I did wasn't wrong, you go into a long-winded explanation, right?
Like, I just don't stop talking.
Yeah. So I can tell you for sure part of that trend is because you have the way your mind is built. You're kind of, first of all, let me just say this. Most guys will fall into that category, that it's black and white. Guys are black and white. So if someone says you're wrong and you're not wrong, then that means we go to the black or the white side, okay? And we go, hold on a second, I'm not wrong. What do you mean? So you're naturally, we are going to stand on that side and then tell the person, whoa, show me. What do you, and again, most guys are not trying to be rude. They're just trying to say, okay, hold on a second. Hold on. Show me how I'm wrong. Well, you are because of whatever. Okay, so let's talk about it. But the reason that most guys are like that is because guys are naturally teachers, okay? Naturally, just by us being the man, right? Because it's God, us, and the woman. So the man is rationally, they're going to separate the black and white and then show you where you're standing and then where the other one is standing based on the black. There's no gray area. So yeah, what you're going to have to start doing is you're going to have to start telling your, this is how secular world explains it. Is that the hill you want to die on? You really want to argue about that? When the truth is, coming at it from a biblical standpoint would be, you are a man of God. You are a teacher. Now again, you need to understand where you are, but I believe that you'll be in the teacher category just based on what I know about you. You know what I mean? Are you with me?
Yep, I am.
So because you're a teacher and you're a guy, you're going to be long-winded because guys are naturally black and white. So because you're naturally black and white, there are some guys, they're not a teacher. That's not what they are. So their black and white just stands on just black and white. And it's like, you're wrong. No, I'm not. And that's all they'll say. Because again, they're black and white. Hey, you're wrong. No, I'm not wrong. But because they're not a teacher, they don't have this natural urge to be long-winded about it. They're not a teacher. You understand what I'm saying? So what you're going to have to do is whenever someone is telling you you are wrong about something, you could just ask a question and that's fine. Like, well, like what can you tell me why that's wrong? Can you at least do that? And once they tell you why, you're going to have to just kind of say, well, so I don't become long-winded. I disagree, and I'm only going to give one reason why. And that one reason can only be like a sentence long. And that's it. You're just going to have to start teaching yourself that the teacher in you that is trying to teach, it can't come out every day. It just can't. Right. And don't get me wrong. I've done it. You can ask my wife. I have friends. Well, you can ask Dre. Dre already knows, but you can ask some other friends that know me longer. They'll come up to me and be like, hey, can I ask you a question? And can you just like get straight to the answer? Right there in front of my wife. My wife will bust out laughing. And I'm
all
like,
the time.
And
I do it all the time.
And recently a buddy here at home, No, Nina, I know y'all all know, but I'm saying, think about someone that's known me for 20 years. You understand? It's not they know. It's like they know. They know. Like, they know, right? So, and he'll do it right in front of me. He's like, hey, can I ask you something? And maybe you just get straight to the point, like give me straight to the answer. And because I know I've known him for so long, I go, probably not. I'll tell him just like that. And you could just tell he's so frustrated because he just wants me to tell him, But again, it's the natural teacher in me, right? So when I started reading the Bible, it didn't take long for me to realize, oh, I'm a teacher. I already knew that because of the way my mind worked in service, and I already knew that. But when God is telling you, hey, I need you to teach, I want you to teach, you're like, oh, that makes so much sense. I get it. And then now you can mature because God made me. You understand? So if God made me, then now I understand where I'm directing my maturity. It's through him. So if I'm a teacher, because that's what he needs me to do, then now I have to start being honest that when people in this world are like, hey, can I ask you something? And can you not, again, it just depends who it is and depends what the question is. Because there are times where I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll just give you a quick answer. What is it? But, my buddy, there's no one else to go ask. All right. It's regarding pew-pewing. Okay. I'm not saying he can't find, look, obviously there's somebody that's going to do better. There's always going to be somebody better, but I'm just saying, statistically speaking, okay, in a 600 square mile radius, there's going to be very few people to ask these very specific questions to. And he knows that I'm one of them, and he doesn't know the other. He don't even know where the other 5 are. You get what I'm trying to say? When you get to receive, acquire a mastery in something, and people know that you're a master in that, they're going to come ask you questions, right? So the question that he was asking me, I'm like, bro, if I don't answer that, you ain't going to find out the answer. No offense. I mean, you could probably get online and find someone that knows and things like that. But when you know the person, you just want them to tell you. So when he said, hey, can I just ask? And you just I was like, nah, probably not. So either ask and I'm going to answer how I want, or don't ask. And that day he's like, you know what? Just never mind. I'm like, all right, you save both of us time, because if you're going to ask me a question, it's like asking a mathematician a question about math. And if they are a teacher, because there are mathematicians that aren't teachers, but if they are a teacher and you make the mistake and ask a mathematician a question regarding math, they may start, 1 + 1 is 2, right? Listen, these people have all day. A person that has mastered something, they have all day in their head to explain what it takes to be a master at that. You may think your question is not trying to be a master, but a teacher don't care, because they're not going to leave any gaps for error on what they're trying to say. They're going to fill in every blank. They're going to fill in blanks. There shouldn't even be a blank there, and they'll fill it in, right? And they'll take you, okay. Remember when you were in kindergarten, you're like, oh my God, bro, I know we're not. I know we're not. But they are, because they want to see where the mistake is in your question, because your question is stupid, right? But they're not going to tell you it was stupid, right? But your question was stupid question. And for you to ask it this way, it's because you don't know how to multiply. You understand? They already know your issue is with multiplication.
Yeah, you're kind of doing it right now. You're
That's
actually
all right.
literally telling us.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. It's proven my point. That's all it's doing. The point is, because you're a teacher, you're going to want to go all the way back to square one and bring them all the way back. And I'll go back to what Trent is saying. You're going to want to bring them all the way back to square one and bring them all the way to what they said. And through that, they will be able to see, hey, you see how I'm not wrong? But what I'm saying is, if it's not a moment that you're using your teaching ability, you have to start telling yourself you can't do it, is the point, right? So if your buddy's like, hey, your form was bad, and you're like, no, it wasn't. And you go all the way back, goes, look, when I got the ball, I ran over here, I was going to do a layup. So my momentum was already going over there, bro. That's why I twisted, because I was already going that way. So when I came out of there and you're telling me you should have just passed it to me, Bubba, in my twist, I'm still working on my layup. I understand what you're saying, but you don't understand. I might not have hit you. Still working on but again, you have to start at square one to get there. And so, Trent, what's happening is you're being tempted to believe that every time this thing happens, it's a time for like correction or a time for teaching. And the truth is, it's not. So as a teacher, I'm telling you, you have to just tell yourself this is not a teaching moment. So like if you have to get a hat, I'm telling you, think I'm playing. If you got to get 10 hats in your house, go get 10 hats. One hat's going to say teacher hat. One hat's going to say, boyfriend hat, and I'm bringing up because I know, you're dating somebody, but that hat will say boyfriend hat, the other hat, worker hat, the other hat, whatever. And if somebody, friend hat, I'm just a friend, right? So like if whoever is asking you a question, and remember, you only got one teacher hat. And you can put that on. If someone says you can put the teacher hat on, that's when you put it on, bro. If they don't let you put on the teacher hat, you can't just put the teacher hat on whenever you want. You have to do this for you and for everybody else around you. All right. Sad thing for Dre is he's always asking me biblical questions, so it's hard. All right. But my other buddy that I'm referring to, if he's like, no, bro, come on, bro. I'm like, all right. Just ask already. And I'll just spit it out there. But there are times he's like, man, I already know. If I ask him this, he's going to go all the way back over here. And he already knows. So, but the thing is, you're the one in control of the hats. So, and I'm being serious. If you got to get I don't care if they're made out of freaking tinfoil. If you got to get you 10 hats and remind yourself when something's happening, tell your friends too. Say, I can't, listen, I'm a teacher. And I'm going to go through there. And only people who have a big heart, bro, they don't mind. They'll go all the way through there. But it can become annoying to other people. And they can say, why do you got to go through this long story? Listen, you have to protect you, get you some hats, and you have to ask them. When they ask you a question or they tell you, man, why are you correcting me? Take all your hats off. Okay. And just look at your hats. Let me see. That's not a friend. That's not my girlfriend. That's my boss. Okay, I need my employee hat right now. And now it's, yes, sir. What? How can I help you, sir? You just have to remind yourself, but because you're a teacher, you're naturally going to try to, you're going to hop into that. You're going to hop into teacher mode every time. And you're just going to have to start teaching yourself that you can't do that. You have to know who is wanting you to put the teacher hat on and who's not. And it's nothing wrong with what you're doing. It's just that because you're a teacher, again, if the only tool you carry around is a hammer, then even a screw is a nail. You'll teach yourself that's not a screw, that's a nail, and you'll start hitting it. That screw's not going to go in, it'll bend. So you have to have many tools in your toolbox. You have to have many tools. Then you have to know when to pull out the hammer, when to pull out the, Phillips screwdriver, when to pull out the flathead. You got to know when to pull them out. And it just goes all the way back to knowing, okay, I'm a teacher and I'm going to be long-winded. But the reason it's good for a teacher to be long-winded is because when someone comes up on the panel and they're like, hey, talk to me about honey. 5 hours went by. All they asked was about honey. 5 hours. Or better yet, talk to me about land in the Bible. You talk to him for 30 minutes. Guess what? Someone else comes up. Talk to him about honey. An hour. Someone else comes up. Talk to me about hair. An hour. You literally, like a psychopath, because you're a teacher, have been talking for 15 hours straight to 150 people. And you're still not tired, right? That goes all the way back to the disciples. They fed 5,000 people and they still had leftovers. And you are one of those baskets. You are a basket that's full of food and it never runs out. Never. 5,000 people is not enough. Everybody in the whole world better come. That's the only thing. You're going to have to go hoarse. Like your vocal cords are going to have to be removed because a teacher don't get tired. They don't get tired. It's like a natural ability they have. They don't wear themselves out. They don't get annoyed, right? They're very patient. You know what I mean? Unless Christian's on the panel, that's different.
Well, hey,
oh, Christian's not even here. My bad. I thought Christian was here.
I want to ask about the whole topic, right? Because I'm sorry if I'm being annoying. I just want to absorb as much information as I can. Like, I don't want to be the type of person that misses out on anything. But I want to also say this as well, right? What if, because this happened to me several times with some people that I know, right? And it was in 2 different occasions, in 2 different ways, and I genuinely didn't know how to act, right? But, right, the first one, for example, where I got corrected, and for example, that person told me I'm wrong, and the fact is they might be right, but I don't see why they think I'm wrong. Even when they explain for 30 minutes, I still don't get it, why they're wrong and why they're correcting me. And I tend to think, you know what, no, I'm right. But they might be right at the end of the day, but it's like an endless back and forth where this person's like, you're wrong because of this and that. And I'm like, no, I'm right because of this and that. And at the end of the day, it reaches to a point where that person just says, you know what, stop explaining. It's getting really annoying, right? No matter how hard you're explaining, it's not getting into my head and I don't want to listen to it. I just want to stick to what I think. If I think you're wrong, then okay, don't explain, no problem. Just be wrong in my head. That's the problem. And it irritates me in a way where now I just become like an endless car with unlimited fuel that keeps on going and going and going. And I don't know when to stop.
Yeah. Okay. So are you pointing out that you feel like you have to prove you're not wrong?
Not prove. It's just like when a person comes and corrects me, right?
Yeah.
The thing, they might be correct. They might be right that I'm wrong. But even when they explain why I'm wrong, I don't see why they think I'm wrong, and I still think I'm right. And even when I explain to them,
yeah, okay, all right. Well, then that's be slow to speak. That's a be slow to speak issue. Yeah, because you said, because you said at the end of the day you might see that you're wrong, but right then and there you don't see it, right?
Yeah, it's vice versa. That person is saying to me, and I'm saying,
yeah. So that's. You're not being patient. You're not slow to speak. That means someone says you're doing something wrong and you're saying, no, I didn't do it. That means you're not giving yourself enough time to actually think if what you're doing was wrong. So you're not being slow to speak. The Bible says be slow to speak. So if someone is saying you're doing something wrong, now again, this is coffee. Okay. There's a lady I bowl with. Okay. Her name's Miss Marie. She's a trip. She's a trip, that lady. Anyhow, she tells me all the time, are you going to drink an energy drink today? She's always getting on to me about caffeine, energy drinks, you know? And I was like, oh, wow, thanks for reminding me. And I'll go get one, you know? That's our way of giving each other a hard time, man. But she's actually kind of serious, just to be clear. She's being serious. So, why am I bringing her up? Because while you're bowling, you can tell when someone messed up, and you can say, hey, just so you know, instead of bringing your arm all the way up, you're coming across your body. That's a big thing. You'll hear people telling each other, but the one that's been bowling for 15 years, they already know. They already know why the ball went that way, because they went across their body. But you'll still have someone say, hey, give me a second. See, the reason you didn't throw the ball straight is because you went across your body. And this person been bowling for 20 years. And they're like, I know. Well, why are you doing it? It's like a scribe and a Pharisee. Let me talk to you for a second. See, the reason your wife left you is because you cheated on her. It's like you just want to go, no duh, bro. Like, I know why she left. Well, I don't think you do know, because why would you do that? Okay, so again, it's instead of even saying anything, just don't, is what I'm telling you, right? You don't have to tell the person, hey, yeah, the ball went that way because you didn't, your arm didn't go. Even if you know what they're saying, you know, what I'm saying is, if you disagree, you don't have to disagree out loud. That's all I'm saying. You don't have to. You need to think about what they're saying. And if you want, and I'm telling you, it's better. It's better if you say, can I think about that? I'm telling you right now, it is better, because if you're right, they're going to go think about it too. And if they're wrong, they'll be like, oh, crap. And now it's you that gets to come and says, so I've been thinking about what you said. And they might go, all right, you were right. Okay, all right, just making sure That's the way you do it, because it can't become heated at the moment if you just say, let me think about what you just said. Can I think about it? Now, if they're not letting you think about it and they're like, no, I want to tell you you're wrong, you can say, okay, now we have a different problem, because I'm telling you, I want to think about what you said. Before, I wouldn't think and I would tell you you're wrong. But now I'm taking a more mature, right? A more mature step towards this. And I'm saying, let me think before I speak. And you're telling me that I shouldn't think before I speak. I mean, which one is it? Should I listen to the Bible or not? So I think part of the problem is when the Bible says be slow to speak, you're not doing that. You're not being slow to speak. You're just hurry up and responding to what the person is saying. So, and you're long-winded because you're a teacher. So that's double trouble. You with me, Trent?
I can see it now.
Yeah.
It's just because like that flesh in me, that they get so irritated. Like, I need to show him why I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
I need to, so like, as he said, and as Jordan said, pick your battles, right?
Yeah.
If you see the conversation isn't worth engaging, or if it's over something silly, or if it's not something that important where they're in need of like a direct conversation on the spot, then I can immediately just be like, you know what, cool, you can think whatever you want to think. I can go think about what you said, and I'll come back later. That's if, for example, you want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I tend to see like people respect it more when you come and ask. Because like sometimes, let's say, for example, I had a tough discussion with someone. Let's say I come back the next day, that person still doesn't want to talk about it. You still have to ask, right? You still want to talk about this? If not, if they say no, you just have to just let it go, no matter what the circumstances.
Yeah. And that's why I was saying earlier, the secular way, right, is choose your battles, right? That's a secular, it makes sense, right? Choose your battles. But the biblical term is be slow to speak. So be slow to speak is different than choose your battles. First of all, understanding choose your battles, that's better than having no understanding. Because that will eliminate at least half of the problems, right? But being slow to speak starts eliminating 80% of them, because you're not looking at everything as a battle, right? You're looking at everything as, I need to be patient. I need to be calm. I don't want no battles, so I don't want to choose no battles. I'm just going to stick to, I need to be slow to speak. So someone comes with something, it's like, okay, can I think about that? I just need to think about it. I'm telling you, you'll be doing yourself a service and the other person, because you may not even want to talk about it after 20 minutes or an hour. You may not. The other person may not want to talk about it no more. You know, you could come up to them and say, hey, I thought about what you said. I will say this. I understand why you're saying what you're saying. I totally disagree. I don't believe I did anything wrong. And that's kind of where I stand on that. Okay. You know, or that time that you had to think about it, you could say, you know what? I was thinking about what you're saying. I don't agree with you that I did anything wrong, but I will say this. I don't think we need to fight or continue this dispute over this topic, honestly. And then, because you could tell I don't care if it's your boss, a girlfriend, a family member, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which category it is. You can disagree with anybody. That is healthy to say, I just disagree. Healthy. It's 100% healthy. Okay. You know, now if God came to you and be like, hey, I think you need it. And you go, God, I just disagree. Then, you know, now at that point we might have an issue, you know, but for the most part, we're dealing with people. And if someone's telling you, oh, well, you need to listen to me because the Holy Spirit said, that's witchcraft. That's witchcraft, my friend. There's a lot of it going on in the church right now. The Spirit told me. The Spirit said. What better way to get someone to humble down to you? The Spirit said it. We're all supposed to discern from the Spirit. You don't need someone to tell you, well, the Spirit said, and somehow put this fear in you that they're the only ones that hear from the Spirit. No, we all supposed to discern from the Spirit, and the easiest way is to be slow to speak. Just slow down. You know, I heard what you said. Let me think about it. And, you know, and then from there, you can kind of figure out what decision needs to be made. But being slow to speak is the right way to handle any someone, I mean, not rebuking you, but reproving you or correcting you or something, you know, so.
By the way, girls are going to always want to talk about it eventually.
That's fine. Yeah. And you know what? If it is a girl, right? I don't care if it's a sister, your boss, or a girlfriend. If they come back, at least you had time to think about it. So you can at least, you know, you at least kind of looked over how you're going to approach the topic.
Yeah, I'm just saying, guys are more likely to just be like, I don't want to talk about it, forget about it. Like, they're good, just water under the bridge.
Yeah.
But a girl, she's going to want to talk about it. It's just a matter of time. It will come out. I promise you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No, you said, and when you said that, you were 30 degrees to the left at 2:05 p.m. last week on a Monday.
Yep. We were in the front yard. It was cold. There's that little red truck drove by and went beep, beep. Remember, all that was going on. And you said...
And she'll start off that whole sentence by saying, you know what? I don't even want to talk about it. But when you said this at this time...
But when you said... Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I had to give me some power.
Just own up to it.
Yeah. Alex, is that good or what?
All girls, Brenda. I don't care what you say. You're a girl. You do it too.
Not all girls. All. Okay, my bad. Hold on. 99.9%. Okay, Brenda. Brenda's like, I'm that 0.1. Fine. JC, you say,
I gotta say is you got two 1%ers in the room at the same time.
Oh, look at that. What are the odds of that? I'm going to make y'all.
All of them are 1%ers now. Try all of them.
All of them. Everybody 1%. Yeah. JH, what'd you say? Did you hide the mower? No, not yet. Trust me. I ain't forgot. Bro. I can't wait. I'm seriously thinking about doing it. I'm gonna go get me one. I've already looked at everything. I'm like, I'd go get another one and wait for her to start that mower up, and then right beside her, brrr, she'd be like, "What are you doing?" I can't hear you. I can't hear.
No, we got receipts, Brenda. I saw your comment when you first came in here. My husband needs to be here. He needs to be listening. Talking about 1%.
Stop it.
Is that what we're doing?
Oh, no.
Is that what we're doing?
I can't help you with that one because you surely did.
She said my husband needs to come in here? Oh,
Look
man.
at that. Then Nina betrays her. Now Nina's the solely 1%.
Man, look, Brenda's like, I'm not the problem. He is.
He's the problem.
Oh my God. Yeah. Anybody got anything else about, because again, the conversation still is, right? What does a godly man look like? Now we're getting into what does a godly woman look like? And Jennifer brought up a question yesterday that was, how does a godly woman get her man to be a godly man? And I kind of was harping on, how does a woman get her man, or how does she make her man, or how does she Cleopatra witchcraft her man, manipulate her man? And, but a godly woman, if they ever seen a godly man, you understand? If a godly woman has seen what a godly man looks like, she won't be manipulating her man. You understand? Like, she just will place her man in that position. She'll know how to do it because she's seen one. Now, if a godly woman has not really seen what a godly man looks like, it'd take her a little bit. There's going to be some button heads, but if she's seen what a godly man looks like, she'll at least have some tools, like how to help help her man get there. We talked about Nabal, right? The fool in the story. What was her name? Was it Abigail? The Abigail
Yeah.
Mary?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You could just tell. You could just tell that she knows her man's a fool. And so she's a godly woman, but he's not a godly man. And she had to help him for him not to unalive himself, because what he was doing to David, it was a death sentence. So she's got to go she's got to go play this part of what a godly man should have done, which was take him something to eat and all that. Even if he didn't want to give any of the animals, he should have known, hey, can y'all not kill an animal right now? Look, I got extra grain, cheese, wine. Can I give this for y'all? And maybe this will work for a couple of weeks, and maybe I can give you some more. And then maybe in a month or two, or maybe 1 month, I can give you an animal. First of all, I really think David would have been like, yeah, that's fine. We can wait a month. You're going to give us some grain and some cheese and you're going to give us food? Yeah, we're good. But that's what she had to do. She had to do that. So, but notice she didn't go to Nabal and say, now, Nabal, now listen here. You need to go tell David that he can eat and he can do this. And that's not what she did. She chose a path that would not get her man unalived and at the same time have a good relationship with David. Even though David knew, I want to unalive that dude. David also knew that they're one. You understand? That they're one. So if he met his better half, a man that God is their authority, 100% is now going to respect the man because of the woman. He's going to respect the man. He's like, man, that's your wife. Oh man, I'm not doing her like that. You understand? I'm not doing her like that. I want to. The guy's an idiot, but I'm not going to do her like that. But when that dude died, David was like, I need a good woman like that in my life. Where is she at? And then that's exactly what happened. But again, it's a shadow. It's a shadow of us being redeemed after we're no longer under the first husband. But right. So how does a godly man get her man to be a godly man? Listen, just because your man talks about God doesn't mean he's a godly man. I don't know how many times. All you have to do as your boyfriend, let's just say that. All you have to do is see how your boyfriend treats other people. That's all you got to do. And let me tell you something. Don't let them bewitch you on why it's okay for them to mistreat people. Don't let that happen. If you're allowing your boyfriend, okay, again, I'm talking about people who aren't married. If you're already married to the joker, that's a different conversation. But if you're dating someone, and I'm saying this because every day people are dating, okay? All you have to do is ask yourself, is this person forgiving? Very forgiving person. That's all you got to ask yourself, and be honest. Think about everyone that's in this person's life. I don't care if it's immediate circle. It could be secondary, thirdary circles. And ask yourself, does he come off as forgiving? If you say no, it's just a matter of time that he's not going to be forgiving you. It's just a matter of time. The bitter seed of unforgiveness lives in this person. Do you understand? You think they're just going to be real forgiving towards you because you're the woman in their life. How's that make any sense? How's that make any sense? They have the seed of bitter unforgiveness in them. My friend, that's the fruit that's going to come out when you need it. When you need forgiveness the most from that person, they're not going to be able to give it to you. There's no fruit. There's no proof of it. And you think, well, we're dating and, he likes me and I like him. It don't matter. Majority of people, the truth, the true fruit of who they are, it will show up. So all you have to do is see what fruit they're using now. That's all they have. They either have forgiveness or they don't. That's it. So listen, you don't take over a garden because it has nothing on there grown. You accept a garden for what it is because it has things grown on there. So you have 3 gardens. You have gardens that have good food to eat. You have garden that has bad food, like poisonous or rodents, bugs all in the food. Or you have a piece of dirt. That's it. There's only 3. You got a piece of land, or it's good or bad fruit. That's it. And I'm talking about man's heart. If you want to know how he's going to treat you, all you have to look at is how he's treating other people. And let me tell you, Voice, what'd you say? How do you get rid of seed of unforgiveness? The only way to get rid of that is you have to plant forgiveness, which means people who don't deserve forgiveness, you have to forgive them. You have to forgive them. Even if the first step is you telling them, hey, I forgive you. Even if that's the first step, that's what you do. You tell them to their face, I forgive you, because it's not worth it. You cannot afford that bitterness to even start taking root in your life. You can't afford it. Life is too short. So you're not going to them to say, I want you to know I forgive you. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself. So nothing else has a hold of you. It doesn't have a hold of you anymore. Okay? So I'm telling you, this is a dire mistake that people make, in the first beginning of like a relationship. We all know this. We've all been there. Everybody seems nice, everything, but it's just a matter of time that the fruit that's in their heart, you're going to eventually see it. Okay? I'm not talking about being mean to each other every once in a while. Listen, come on, man. Come on, stop. High school stuff. We're all used to this. But I'm talking about if you're choosing a mate for life, you better 100% make sure that person knows how to forgive, because you're the one that's going to be the bullseye. Do you understand? I don't give a crap what they do for a living, how much money they make. They got a great family. I don't. It doesn't matter. Do they know how to forgive? This is the first thing you need to find out. So you need to talk to them. You need to date them 6 months to a year for sure before you can kind of determine whether you need to go further, with this. Because if they do not know how to forgive, and I mean truly, then that means you don't care if they know how to forgive or not, because you're perfect. You have to see yourself as perfect. Do you understand what I'm saying? You literally have to say, oh, I'm perfect. He's not going to have to forgive me. But if you could be honest with yourself and say, I'm not perfect. I mean, there might be some opportunities that I need that person to forgive me. Then you better make sure that they got that planted in them. Let me tell you something. At the beginning of a relationship, it's easy to forgive people because you want to be accepted. So you forgive them. Oh, it's okay. I forgive you. Oh, it's okay. I forgive you. But then you get into 2 years, 5 years, 7 years. A small thing that was really their pet peeve, they won't forgive you. And what I mean by that is they'll call you out on it. They'll call you out on it. They'll hold you to it. They'll bring it up every chance they get, and it's because they don't know how to forgive. That's why. Which means you didn't do your homework. You didn't find out if that man of God knows how. Listen, it goes both ways. Guys too. You get with the girl, you better make sure she knows how to forgive. Because let's just say whatever you're doing for work, let's say for whatever reason that falls apart. And now you're not able to make as much money as you did. Is that chick going to leave or what? Is she going to be able to forgive you? Like, is she going to stay there no matter what? What if your health goes? Let's say your job, nothing's wrong with your job, but you get sick. And now you can't do your job. Guess what? Your job just left. Do you understand? I don't care how good you are at your job. If you get sick, you can't do it. And if you can't do your job, you can't get paid. That girl gonna run off with somebody else? Because the only way she's not is if she knows how to forgive. You understand? So it goes both ways. So you need to make sure what garden you're marrying. Because if you ain't paying attention to the Bible, you're marrying another garden. The question is their garden good ground? That's the question. Did it come from Eden? Are they born again? Okay, good. They're saved. All right. You can marry someone who is saved, but there's hardly anything grown in their garden, which means they're going to learn how to develop their garden with you in their life. Do you understand what I'm saying? So while they're learning how to forgive, you're the person. It's you. They're learning how to forgive with you, which means they're not going to be very forgiving at first. So you're going to take all the punches. I'm not telling you not to marry that person. I'm saying it would behoove you. It'd be better for you is if the person that you're marrying already knew how to forgive. If not, you're going to get beat up a little bit. Question? Who's got a question?
Oh, you got a new guest.
Oh, Barack. What's up, Barack? What's your question? You got a question, Barack? Go ahead. You can ask your question.
Or a kiss.
Not really. Just listen. Okay, they're just listening. Okay. Yeah, so again, the question kind of was, how does a godly woman get her man to be a godly man, right? So hope you want him to already be a godly man. You want him to already have a full garden in their heart, something that you can eat from, right? It becomes pleasant. A place that has bountiful trees where you can seek shade. You understand what I was talking about earlier? If your woman just doesn't go up to you and give you a big hug out of nowhere, my friend, you are not a shady tree for them. That's an issue. That's a problem. If she doesn't see you as a trunk of comfort, that's an issue. And it's a you issue. It's your fault. There ain't no blaming nobody else. Listen, when a woman leaves a man and she never comes back, that means there's nothing to miss. You understand? There's nothing to miss. But if a woman leaves a man, and I'm not talking about money, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. Because there are women that will leave a man, she has no money, so she comes back. So she's bound to that man financially. I'm not talking about that. No. I'm talking, just to make it simple, if you understand what I'm saying. Let's say she's got a good job and you got a good job and she leaves. Let me make it even more simple. If you ever see a Hollywood woman, I'm talking about people in Hollywood, they make millions of dollars a year making movies, and we give them all that money because we like entertainment, right? Now everybody puts their entertainment on TikTok, go argue with everybody, right? Trust me, everybody that's in this room, they're not in here to be entertained. There's a difference. They're not in here because we're doing something to entertain them. Matter of fact, if we start talking about football, half of these people are going to leave out of the room. Just because they're not here for entertainment. It's easy to get 100-200 people in your life if you're entertaining, okay? I never got on here to entertain anybody. But if you look at someone from Hollywood, a male and a female, they both make real good money. And let's say the woman leaves, okay? And let's say she makes more money than he does. And she comes back to that dude. That's because there is something she missed. You understand? So don't sit here and make me believe, oh, well, she couldn't find nobody else. I don't know. In this world, it ain't hard to find somebody else, especially if you're a nice looking woman that makes a lot of money. You can go find another nice looking man. I'm just trying to show you something. There's a reason she came back. There's a reason. And the reason that I'm pointing out is his heart, his garden. She doesn't quite frankly find shade in another type of person. She likes the comfort that this person gives them. And I'm not talking about a fake comfort, about a real comfort. Okay. So again, and it's not money. No, it's not this. It's the dude for life. And he has never, Oh, sure, he's got money. Sure, he's got a car. Guys, those things are dried up. Those are of this fallen world. They're dry and desolate. It's fun. You understand? If you have a friend, okay, that has money, he's not bumming you. He's not going to be like, say, bro, let me get that 20 and then buy $20 to the mall. You know, you're not getting that from this person. They're financially stable. But if their heart doesn't know how to forgive, if their heart doesn't know how to do that, my friend, they're dry. Something's wrong. And a woman, it ain't going to take that woman long to figure that out. Oh, wow. He talks about the Bible all the time. Well, he's always doing this, you know, regarding the Bible. But when it comes to that woman, she's going to start noticing something's missing. I don't know what it is. But yet they're always talking about the Bible. But they're dry. They're desolate still. I'm not talking about whether they're not born again. No. I'm saying they're born again. But I'm saying, when I'm saying desolate, I'm saying there's no fruit coming out of the ground. Like they got born again, but there's no fruit. Nothing. Like the woman can't get fed from this man. He's not gonna like really do anything to like hurt her, but it's hard for him to forgive. It's hard for him to like, there's nothing there to nurture her. He can't really nurture her, but he knows how to nurture feelings, right? So let's say he's got a job, he's got money, he knows how to buy you stuff, make you feel good. So which means you got married based on your feelings, and he knows how to respond to feelings. So when you need real comfort, the person don't know how to give it, but they know how to make your feelings feel good. That's a disaster waiting to happen. Disaster, 100% disaster. Because he sees it as money makes feelings feel good. The girl sees it as money makes feelings feel good, which means they were not married under God. They were married through their feelings. And those things die off very quickly. Very quickly. Relationship with Jesus, relationship with God has nothing to do with your feelings. It has nothing to do with your physical eyesight. It has nothing to do with your physical ears, your physical tongue. Relationship with him has nothing to do with your five senses. It's based on what is true. That's all it's based on. And so shall a relationship be between a man and a woman. It's based on truth. That's it. So I'll say it again. If it's a new relationship, right? A year or two, sure. The woman and guy, they can give each other some random hugs, right? But let some time go by where the full heart can be seen, and then see if that woman is just out of nowhere going over there and giving that person hugs. Now, if that guy, let's say he has a good job, he's always buying her stuff, and let's say her love language is gifts. Well, first off, if she's a very carnal woman, okay, and it's always, first of all, don't think I'm saying don't do your hair, nails. Guys, oh, come on. If you want to do your hair, listen, if your barn needs 2 coats of paint, put some paint on that bad boy, all right? No big deal. But what I'm saying is, if the dude is used to making her feel good because of her feelings, and she, you know, every so often she goes up there and gives him a hug, she's hugging him for gifts and money. That's not the hug I'm talking about. That is not the hug I'm talking about. I'm talking about that if she was to explain why she gives this dude a random hug every once in a while, is because she's thankful that she has that kind of a man. But if this woman says, oh, I'm thankful that I have a man that has money, that can buy me stuff, my friend, that's not the kind of hug I'm talking about, okay? So the hug I'm talking about is she knows that she's got a diamond in the rough. She knows that. And she's thankful that she has that garden to go eat from, this blossom garden that she can go seek shade. And it's only there because the man puts himself under Christ. Right? So the man doesn't find nurture in money. That's not his nurturer. You can tell when a man, when his nurture, when a lot of it comes from money, you can tell. You can tell very quickly that they feel very good about themselves because they have money. That's success to them, right? Because Dre brought up success. We're still kind of talking about that too. So physical things that you are successful in, this is where they get their confidence from. They get their confidence through things, right? Through physical things, through money. They feel confident. But you take all that away and they fall apart like Job. They become like Job. And God now has to talk to them. You understand? God's like, hey, riddle me this, Batman. That's what he does. If you go look at the story of Job, he gives Job a lot of riddles. And he's like, hey, can you tell me how this thing works and how this? Everybody's so funny. Everybody reads that and think God's talking about these very physical things. 90% of the conversation that God is having with Job, he's literally giving him riddles. Do you know what this is? Do you know what this means? Can you do this? Can you catch Leviathan with the hook? Do you even know what the hook is? Can you do this? God is being God. He's being himself 100%. Because Job is so focused on God physically, he can't see what he is. Everything's very physical. He loses his children, his house. All his success was based on physical things. It was based on physical, right? A servant came, and while he spoke, a wind and killed his children. And while another servant came, and then the Chaldeans did this. And he's just sitting there watching his whole physical world fall apart, but he had no true relationship with God. But everything that he did, God said, what do you mean? He's perfect and upright. This man's perfect and upright. And the only thing that made Job right with God is because he knew that there was a God, and he did things in God's name. That's all a man needs. Again, to be saved, that's all you need, to be saved. Job was saved, but he was a foolish man in other areas in his life because he believed that that all these things that he had was showing how good his relationship was between God. But then when all those things were taken away, that was God to him. So he fell apart. So God has to show himself, say, hey, I'm not in those things, dummy. I'm right here. And then he starts giving him these very weird questions. Do you know how I do this? Do you know? He doesn't know nothing, which means he knows nothing about God. And he finally admits it. And he says, oh, Lord, I knew of you by the hearing of the ear. And that phrase, hearing of the ear, literally means rumors. I only knew of you by rumors, Lord. And then he finally says, but now my eye seeth thee. I can see you now, which is literally points to like a rebirth, right? He even names his first child Hamima, which means dove, right? So it literally points to his spiritual rebirth. You literally see it happening. But the whole time he was right with God. Why? Because he believed in God and he understood that there is a God and that's who he's going to serve, God. But he had a very misconstrued understanding of God. Meaning it's like what you have today. It still happens. It was big in the late 80s, late 90s. It was huge, and it's still an issue today, which is the type of ministry that focuses on prosperity, right? Prosperity gospel, that you're going to be super blessed and all that. Listen, there is a partial truth in that, okay? Listen, if you lived in the middle of nowhere and there were 50 people there and it was hard to come by to get a chicken, you would have 2 chickens because of God. You understand? It's a fact. You'd be like, wow, you're the most wealthiest man. But the focus is not wealth. That's not the focus. It's just that a godly man, he is going to meditate with God on how he can overcome the obstacles in his life. Yes, everybody will have a chicken. He'll have 2. That doesn't mean everybody has a house that's at least 1,000 square feet and you have a house that's 50,000 square feet. No, bro. That's not what that's talking about. But that's what the prosperity gospel era is, in my opinion, starting to kind of die off. Okay, you already have a lot of pastors that are say they were wrong about how they used to teach about tithing. But again, it's not to ridicule them. I'm so glad that these men were honorable enough to stand up and say, I was wrong about the whole tithe thing. There's a bunch of them that's doing it. It's not easy. Do you think it's easy that you've been ministering tithe the way you've been ministering, and then 20-something years later, you're like, guys, any tape or CD or anything that you have that is before this date, I need you to stop listening to it. I was wrong. Bubba, that's Creflo Dollar. is one of them. That is not, I don't care who you are. That's a hard thing to admit. But the thing is, when you can admit that, that means there's still room to grow. And, but the point I'm getting at is the story of Job. Job, everything that he focused on was based on his success, on how much stuff he had. There are guys to this day that's looking for a woman, and their success is money and maybe what they do for a job. I've had money. I've had many successful jobs, many. I've never really believed that my success was in that. I could see that as a form of success. I could see that, but my success, my idea of success was never in that. Okay, but like Dre was bringing up earlier, when I started making disciples, even though all the other success was fun and it was great, nothing. Now that I understand the Bible, success is how fruitful you become. Not how argumentative you become, how right you are, how many people you proven wrong. You make a disciple doing none of that. Not one. You can lie to everybody and go, there's been plenty of people that's come to you. You can lie all you want. That is not how you do it. That is not how you make a disciple. It's by arguing people who are right, wrong. Listen, just because you found someone who's humble, because you don't know how to be humble, but they happen to be humble and say, oh, you know what? I think what you said is right. You didn't make a disciple. You didn't make a disciple. You just found a humble person. And when your idea of talking about God is arguing about who's wrong about everything, you ain't making no disciples. You're just a naked branch sitting there waiting to be covered. You ain't making no disciples. Your job is to make disciples. If you're not doing that, the question would be, well, what are you doing? What are you doing then? You can sit there and argue. Listen, you can go find your little circle of friends or whatever and be like, oh, try. You don't know. The Bible says that we're supposed to do this. Man, listen, if I debated you on what the Bible says, you would be done, son. You'd be done because you're not doing what the Bible is telling you to do. You're not. You can sit there and make everyone else around you believe that you're doing. I'm doing this godly thing right here. And the Bible says, we got it. What is the verse that they always go to? Where they talk about defending faith or
contending for the faith.
Yeah, contending for the faith. I'm contending for the faith. Listen, when you're doing nothing but arguing with people, my friend, the word faith, you're not contending for faith. No, you're not. That's not contending for faith. When people think that they enter heaven by the works of the law, and you say, my friend, you enter by faith. O foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you, right? Receive ye the Spirit by the works of the law or by the hearing of faith? It's which one? It's not both. Which one? So when you tell someone who believes that it's by the works of the law and you're telling them, no, it's by faith, contending for the faith doesn't mean that when people that worship Buddha or whatever, and they go, I'm contending for my faith. I have a video that's called What is Faith? You need to go watch it if you ain't seen it, because every religion don't have faith. That's a lie. Christianity is the only one that has faith, because Jesus himself is our servant, our faithful servant. It's him. He's faith. It's not easy to see at first, but it's him. He's the servant. He didn't come here to be served. He came here to serve, right? He laid down his life for our sake, which means he wasn't looking at what's going to make his day better. He was looking at what's going to make our day better. And he did that for 3 years until he got on that cross. It was him the whole time. It was him. But again, so how does a godly woman get her man to be a godly man? Well, number one, you need to find out if the man that you're chasing knows how to forgive. If you hear your man saying, I can't stand this dude, this dude's a da-da-da, that man doesn't know how to forgive. Listen to what I'm telling you. He doesn't know how to forgive, and you're next in line. And he may be forgiving to you right now, but I'm telling you, if he talks about God and he doesn't know how to forgive, He's in legalism. He's a legalistic person. And I'm telling you right now, your feet, my friend, are next. You'll be held to the fire next. While you're sitting there, yeah, my man this, my man that. Because his head, he's not under the right one. He's still under himself. Is he saved? Probably. He's probably still saved, but you need to understand what I'm telling you. If he doesn't know how to forgive, that means he's not listening to the head. And he's going to be your head? I don't think you're listening to what I'm telling you, okay? I really don't. So how does a godly woman get her man to be a godly man? Before you marry him, you better start teaching him about forgiveness. And if he starts telling you all these excuses why he's not going to forgive, or he lies to you and says, oh, yeah, I forgave him, but you can tell there's still bitterness there, you're next in line. That heart that man has, he doesn't use another heart for you and another heart for that. That is a lie. He will come down on your butt too in a way that you would never believe. But you can't fake what's in someone's garden. You can't fake it. If someone told me, any of us in here, everyone here, if you don't, then I'm not talking to you. But if you know the difference if you know a difference between a jalapeno and a watermelon, okay, both green. One is sweet, the other one's hot. That's why I'm using them too, okay? But if someone told me, hey man, come check out my garden, bro. Look at those right there. That's tomatoes. Look at that. That's, cabbage. Look at that. That's watermelon. Those are strawberries. And I said, watermelon. I said, hey, bro, that row right there that you just pointed at, that's not watermelon. Yeah, it is, bro. No, I'm with you about your strawberries and your cabbage, and I'm with you on all that. That's what those are. But that's jalapenos right there. And using other words, they're saying, look at my love, joy, peace, long suffering. Wait. That's love, joy, peace. But that right there, that's not long suffering. That's not patience that you just pointed at to me. Yeah, bro. Nah, bro. That's unforgiveness that you have right there in that row, buddy. Listen, women, what I'm telling you. Nobody can lie to you about who they are. All you have to do is just be around them. And the whole time you're looking at their heart. Isn't that what God looks at? The heart? Let me tell you something. If you're allowing your flesh to tell you whether this is a good fit for you, let's say the guy is nice looking, he's got money, physically you could be taken care of. But let's be honest. You want a man to just take care of you physically or take care of your heart? So what women tell themselves is, well, he's nice looking, he's got money, so he can physically and he talks about God. So did Job. Job talked about God, but he didn't know God. So if the woman doesn't have a heart of God, and listen to what I'm telling you, everything I just explained, let's say the woman doesn't know how to forgive. So if a woman finds a man who doesn't know how to forgive, and she doesn't know how to forgive, she's not going to recognize that the garden is lacking forgiveness because she lacks it herself. This is a disaster waiting to happen. It's a disaster. Neither one of you know how to forgive. Therefore, you don't know what to look for in the garden because your gardens look the same. But yet y'all both talk about God. I will sit back with popcorn and watch this. Matter of fact, Descaled is here Monday through Friday. Whenever it comes to pass, you can say, hey, remember that one day you were talking? I just so happened to be dating somebody at the time, and I probably should have listened to you a little bit more. And be like, I tried to tell you. But see, what I'm explaining, the Bible explains this. The Bible explains this, but it does it in a very mystical way. See? So if you're carnally minded, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it because it's mystical. It doesn't really say that, but I'm sitting there telling you everything I just explained, the Bible does explain. It just uses words like bad fruit, good fruit, right? It uses soils and gardens. but it doesn't fully explain in the black letters on the white page. But I am telling you that this is what it's explaining. That someone that has a heart, the garden of God, can recognize if someone else has the garden of God. But a convert, someone who is just saved, and they marry someone who is just saved. Listen, I'm not saying that the divorce has to happen or the breakup has to happen. I'm saying y'all will be each other's guinea pig, and it's a rough ride, and I will be eating my popcorn as I watch it take place. It's a process that y'all just going to have to deal with, okay? So is it something that can be worked out? Yes, it can be worked out. It's just going to be a bumpy ride while it happens. That's all I'm saying, And the opposite can happen. Y'all can both just start hating each other within a year. Why? Because you're not listening to what people are trying to tell you. Your job is to look at their garden. And if something is missing, if you're a good man or a woman, you recognize that and you put it in there. And you'll know if the person's a fool because they'll reject it. So if you tell a man that you're dating, hey, I think you got a problem with forgiveness. And they go, why? It's like, well, you know that one person, you're bitter every time their name comes up. Oh, well, that's because if they try to make you believe that they have a reason, then they're rejecting what you're saying. They're literally telling you, no. That person's the problem. You'll know if that person's the problem or not. Go watch that person. I mean, I don't know how you would, but I'm just saying, just watch the person. Is everybody around that person feel the same? Does the majority of people feel the same about that person? If the answer is no, then your friend's got a problem, okay? Now, again, this goes both ways, boys, girls, okay? It's just the question happens to be, how does a godly woman get her man to be a godly man? Well, just first make sure you're marrying one or dating one. Make sure that's first. The heart. It's the heart. You need to check that heart out. Again, their job, whether they're cute or not, they sound smart. Oh, they've got the big words. I'm going to say all the big words. Listen, anybody can sound smart. Anybody can get a job that makes a lot of money. It's the heart. Okay? That's the thing. If not, your heart is going to regret it later. So you go ahead and have fun with the person's job or money or whatever. Again, this is nothing new, guys. Outer appearance is not what God looks at. I'm not making this up. The Bible tells us that he chose David because of his heart. So if God looks at the heart and the man is supposed to follow lead of God, right? The man is under God. Now I'm looking for a wife that has that heart, which means the woman needs to be finding a man after God's own heart, not finding a man that luckily got successful in something. I've seen listen, I'm going to say it, and if you get offended, that's on you. Do you know that people that sell dildos are somebody look it up. I'm being dead serious. Somebody look up a person that is a millionaire because they sell dildos for a living. Come on, hurry up. If I'm wrong, I'll apologize, but there ain't no way I'm wrong about this. Somebody look it up. Look it up. Listen, this page is not for children. If you're not an adult, you can kick rocks. See your way out. Somebody who's helping me out. Let me know who you are. Who's helping me out?
I got you.
All right.
Repeat what.
I want to know.
Dave Levine.
Who?
Dave Levine.
Okay, so this person sells dildos.
Yeah.
All right. Are they a multimillionaire?
Yeah.
Okay, so are we?
What
okay.
the AI says.
Okay.
I got a whole list of them. Ron, Chad, Braverman.
Are they all multimillionaires?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me one that has a pretty big multi-million number. Give me the number. What's the number?
In 2012, David was $13 million.
$13 million. Well, listen, I can say this
in 2012.
All
yeah.
right, I can say this again. If you're dating someone that's got money, I bet you they don't have that much money. And if you go, well, they do. I think we're still missing the point I'm making. I'm not trying to judge these people for selling sex toys or whatever the heck. Okay. I'm not trying to judge them. But what I'm saying is there is a woman out there. This person could be nice looking. They're a multi-million dollar holder. Okay. But she wouldn't date this guy because of what he does for a living. Why not? He's successful. Isn't success based on money and things? He's got plenty of money and plenty of things. Oh, because you don't want to go to your mom and dad and say, oh, well, he earns his money by selling dildos. You don't want to say that, right? So we go find something. Listen, you're going to sit here and tell me, listen to what I'm saying. You're going to sit here and tell me that this is what I call accidental millionaire. Wow. What hard work to find horny people in the world? That's hard. Somebody bear with me here. Is that hard? Is that hard to do?
No.
So, okay then. So wow, boy, he's such a hard worker. Listen, anything that feeds the flesh is a joke to me, and it will always be. I don't care if it's movies. I don't care if it's sex. I don't care if it's music. It's all accidental money. You are an accidental multi-whatever. I don't care if you make $1 million. I don't care if it's $100,000. You feed off people's emotions. That's where you make your money. You are not successful in my eyes. The only people that see you successful are people that still hold on to their flesh a little bit. That's it. That's it. Everyone makes mistakes. Jay, you must have just got here. We're not talking about mistakes, Jay. Oh, unless you're talking to somebody. I apologize.
Jay's like, I need that money regardless. She's like, I need the bag.
Yeah. But I'm saying, listen, if you cook food for a living, okay. No, don't read the comments. Oh God. Okay. So look, now the food thing, all of us can agree, 90% of people, they kind of pick and choose what they eat, right? Based on their taste buds and things like that. If you're a chef, I'll give you a pass but I will say that a chef also can kind of work on people's emotions to get them to keep coming and eating their food. But we all must eat. I fully understand that. Listen, I have nothing against movies. I have nothing against, your sexual life with your partner. I have nothing against music, nothing like that. But what I'm saying is there are certain jobs that I will always see because I understand how they're used. I will always see as you have money by accident. There's nothing, you don't do anything special. I don't care what anyone says. When it comes to movies, sex, and music, when it comes to them three things, I'm saying if it's secular, listen, if you're making movies for God, I'm all for it. If you're making music for God, I'm all for it. If you're making food for God, which is godly people, I'm all for it. I get it. Again, sex is supposed to be in the house with your wife. I'm all for it. I get it. But if you're making money because you're just secular, that your movies are secular, meaning everything, your job just feeds people's emotions, my friend. I don't see you successful, not even a little bit. You haven't done anything successful. To me, you're just a person that's got a bunch of worldly money, but dry on the inside. Have no forgiveness, really don't have love for people, just argumental. That's all it is, right? So again, how does a godly woman get her man to be a godly man? They have to already be. And if they're not, you got a bumpy ride. And in the middle of all that, you will see what I'm saying. You will 100%. You can't argue your way out of this one. I don't care who you are. If you're a lawyer, you can try. We can go get a whole freaking, 12 people sitting on a jury, right? You can go get 12 people sitting on a jury, and you may be able to fool one, but that's all you did was fool one. That's all you did. There's lawyers that they'll win in the courtroom, but everybody knows they lost. Everybody knows they lost. They just fooled some idiot sitting up there that's stupid enough to listen to their nonsense. But this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. They may tell you, oh, man, don't listen to that dude, this and that. That's all bitterness talking. Don't listen to that dude. Don't listen to him or her. I'm talking about someone giving you good advice. Oh, Don't listen. Don't. Okay. All right. You go ahead and keep your dried up heart that you have. Again, I'm not questioning whether you're saved. I'm saying, where is this fruit that you're supposed to be giving to this woman? And woman, where's the fruit that you're supposed to be giving to this man? Again, I'm not telling you not to do your hair or nails or any of that, or put makeup on your face. Again, your barn needs 2 coats. Slap 2 coats on that barn, whatever. Okay. I'm just saying, because the topic is.
Did you really just say that?
What?
Did you literally just say if your barn needs 2 coats?
That's the second time.
Yeah.
Listen.
I always say it. What?
I have never heard him say that in over a year of me being here.
Oh, that's one of his go-tos. He said that multiple times. Where you guys been at?
I give you street cred for that. That was a good one.
I've said it. I've said it for a long time. I'm just saying. I don't know how women wear makeup. It bothers my face. Yeah, there's some people that can wear it. There's some that can't, based on like what Brenda is saying. And women, look, there are some women, for whatever the reason is, and I don't care. They don't need makeup. Okay. And there's other women where you're
that would be me, by the way, everybody. That's me.
She's like, that's me. Y'all just call me. Y'all just call me soft face. I'm Mrs. Soft Face. And there's other women that you look at them and you're like, okay, I could see why you put it on. And we all know who those people are. But guess what? I don't give a crap, because if something is wrong with that heart, they can they can be a Jezebel all they want. You pay attention to Jezebel's story, and she put makeup on her face. And everything is about outer appearance with Jezebel, okay? It's an outer appearance thing. And
Thinking witch.
Just a witch. The witch, just being a witch. Don't be a witch. Don't be a warlock. Again, the whole point of what I'm talking about is it doesn't matter who you're talking to. You need to find out. You need to go taste their garden as soon as possible. You need to go taste what's there. And I'm telling you right now, if you look right and you find some bitterness in there, your job is to ask yourself this: do I stay and try to fix it, or go find one that's already got it there? It's up to you. The choice is yours. Just know that if you're dealing with someone that talks about God, there's a good chance, and I am talking about the father, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Let's not misplace who I'm talking about here. So anytime you hear me say God, there's only one that I'm saying that about. But if they talk about God, of course, there's a chance they could be saved. But if they're prideful, or if they look at their cheap money that they have, and I am talking about Hollywood, on both sides of movies, music, sex toys, stuff like this, cheap money, dry money, and people goes, well, it's still money. Okay, go. You call it money all you want to. Go right on ahead. What I'm saying is, to me, it's not a success story, because people in this world that have not learned how to harness their emotions, a lot of their money goes to movies, sex, and music. That's where a lot of their money goes. Every album that comes out, they got to have it. The next new movie, got to have it. Next new dildo, or maybe they have all the dildos and they buy all the batteries. Well, then all your money goes to batteries. You understand? So it's cheap money. To me, it ain't success. You are not successful at all in my eyes. Whoever you are that's involved in any of these kind of industries, using people's feelings to get, to me, that's a. Hold on a second. Hey, can y'all hear me? Oh, hold on.
Yes. You had to go put that second coat of paint on the barn.
Christian, that wasn't even funny. Trot's put in the barn now.
Do what?
How is that funny?
What do you say?
He said you had to go put that second coat of paint on the barn.
I don't think he understood what I'm talking about.
Well, according to him, you've been saying it. So what did you mean, Christian?
I've been saying what? I've been saying what?
What? No, I said according to me, he's never said that before in his life.
Oh, okay. So do you know what it meant?
No, I have no idea. I'm just talking about a physical barn with physical paint. That's what I'm talking about.
Anyway, according to you, I ain't never said what, Christian?
The thing about if your barn needs a second coat of paint, go ahead and put the second coat of paint on. I've never heard you say that.
I don't know. Has anyone ever heard me say that? I've said that since I was like 10.
Yeah.
You said.
Yeah. I said you said it multiple times.
I say
my ears magically just leave that out every time you said it. That's fine.
Okay, Christian, you've known me a year. I said I've been saying that since I was 10. So I don't know. I don't know why you're saying, well, if I've never said it, I mean, I don't know. Well, you didn't know me when I was 10. All right. Unknown suspect. What'd you say? What happened?
Saying a lot.
What do you mean? What happened? Oh, I had a phone call. Maybe that's what they're talking about. I had a phone call. Okay, what time is it? 2:15. All right, guys, anybody got anything based on what we're talking about? If are you understanding what I'm saying? And, if anybody makes movies or music or sells dildos, whatever, listen, it's not anything personal. It's just that's not success to me. Making money based on people's feelings, like here, we don't take tithe. All right. If you want to give a freaking penny to that gold heart up there, fine. If you feel that people will be blessed by listening to descaled content and you feel as though that you want to give a little bit of something to make sure that we continue to push forward, because we're here pretty quick. I'm hoping within a month or two, we're able to get a descaled website, something me and Dre been talking about for a long time. Some of this stuff costs money. Okay. I'm not asking you for the money. If I have to go as far as I can, financially, I mean, I'll go as far as I can, that way through myself if I have to. But anyone that knows that when a place like descaled, I've heard it too many times, that blesses people will give, and it's happened. It hasn't stopped happening, and we'll continue to push descaled forward with as much tool, which is money, that we can. So I understand what money is used for, okay? But here, I don't pull on people's emotions and tell them that if they fasted more, prayed more, twisted God's arm back behind him, if they cried out for more, or if you plant a seed, if you plant a seed of just $100 each today, then y'all will get a blessing before the end of this week. And when you say stuff and do stuff like that, you're playing off people's emotions, and you're making them believe that this thing is what they need to feel better. Movies. There are people, they're movie fanatics. They have to go watch. It's going to make them feel better. Okay. Obviously, sex can be used in a way. Oh, well, it makes me feel better. Okay. Music. Oh, when I listened, it was a heartbreak. The guy broke up and they got back together, and then very secular. You're not, no offense. You're not doing it for God. Okay? You're not. You're doing it for your own pocketbook so you can feel successful. And look, I'm successful. Cheap money, cheap going nowhere money is what you got. You got everything, but you have nothing. You have no forgiveness, but yet you got everything. My friend, you have things twisted. Okay? You're not going to argue your way out of that. You have things twisted. Again, this goes both ways, man and women. There are both man and women that star in porn movies. Cheap money, cheap, okay? Hollywood, secular music. Again, I would like to pick on chefs, but all of us like good tasting food. That's something we can't get away with. but how you handle your time management based on movies. Jen, what I come into? What are you talking about, Jen? What did you come into? Y'all know I'm going to say it straight up. I don't know why you're surprised, Jen, because I'm talking about dildos. Get off the gas.
There it is.
What?
I just say in the chat, tell him, try, get off the gas.
You're yeah, you're being extra.
Stop being extra.
Get off the gas, being extra. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, trust me, it's topics that can make us all feel a little uncomfortable, but I'm saying, and I didn't know for a fact if there were dildo makers that are multimillionaires, but I was like, bro, the world we live in, I guarantee it, they're out there. So if you want to date a guy, right, again, the heart is what you need to be looking at. But if you're wanting to date a guy, he's like, oh, God, he's got money, he's got this. He's a porn star. Good job. Wow, nice. Good job. He sells dildos for a living. Wow, what an honorable thing. Listen, it's not about pointing the finger, but you're just not going to sit here and make me believe that your facade, look how successful I am. And all you do is pull on people's feelings. They give you their money so you can pull on their feelings some more. Get out of here. Again, you got a lot of things, but you have nothing. Okay, you have nothing, and you can go full of a stupid person to believe you have everything, but a wise person is not going to be fooled by it. Right? It looks like you have a lot, but you have nothing. Just like Job, it looked like he had a lot. The only thing Job had going for him is he believed in God. So don't misunderstand. Are you saved? Yes, you're saved. But the woman needs more than just a man that's saved. She needs to be able to go to your shade. You understand? You need to be her comfort zone, and not just because that she's lacking the thing that you're lacking, and so her comfort zone's money. No, it's not. It's not it. It's not the answer. Okay? You keep seeking. Keep looking. Keep looking. All right, guys, anybody got anything based on what we talked about? I mean, I pretty much went over about everything I can think of for today.
Honestly, this feels like when I'm done talking to my kids about these things, and it's like, okay, good talk.
Good talk. Good talk. All right. Let's
good
go.
Talk, guys.
Let's go eat some tacos.
Mine was going back to the very beginning where we talked about that lady doing those calls to them churches.
Do it.
He speaks in code, man.
Remember in the beginning of this conversation when Dre brought up the topic of the lady calling churches?
Christian, don't ask me if I remember. Ask your question or just get to what you're saying.
What I was saying is that it just comes down to discernment, because my wife brought this up to me. She's like, look at this, but the Islamic Center said yes. And then I had to explain, she was lying. And yeah, you think the people at the mosque care? They're just trying to bring these women in and convert them into Islam.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I think we need an interpreter.
Bro, I am talking about at the beginning of this video.
Okay, all right, Christian.
Oh, he's basically
hold
explaining.
Hold on. Let me do my thing, please.
Nina said
hold on. That's all right. Christian, I need you to start this conversation without saying at the beginning of the show, just tell me what you're saying, bro. What are you saying? Just say it. Can anybody speak for him without saying at the beginning, just tell me what he's saying? Does anybody know?
He was explaining his wife's perspective and how he had to correct her perspective and show her how it was all about discernment. But I don't know if he had a question. I don't know if it's a question or a statement.
The lady calling churches and mosques to get breast milk for a baby she doesn't have.
Why didn't you just start off by saying the lady that called the mosque and the churches? Why didn't you just say that?
I think somewhere in what I said, I did say that.
Heck no, dude. Heck no. When you start off at the beginning, no, I'm not saying if you ever said it. You got me freaking way over here. Hey, at the beginning of the show, bro, just get to what you're talking about. When you do this, you drive me crazy. So let's go back to the lady. All right. Now, did you and Dre already talk about this, or are you just referring to what Dre was talking about?
I'm referring to what Dre is talking about.
Okay, all right. But you brought up your wife. Okay, so what? Why are you bringing?
Because I said this is why I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I said the lady who called the churches and stuff.
Okay, no, you did not.
That
Absolutely
video
not.
came up 2 days ago.
To be honest, I heard him say it.
You heard him say what?
Thank you, Cincy. Thank you.
I heard him say the lady who called.
Not at the beginning. Nope. At the beginning,
yes.
He didn't.
He said in the beginning of the video, and then he said, my wife came to me, and then he said, the lady who was doing the churches.
Yeah,
so
no,
it was kind of
no. Let me tell you what he said, because I paid real close, because he does this all the time.
Well, I know.
No,
he did,
I'm going to repeat it. No, Christian, I'm going to repeat it. I'll play the tape if I have to. Listen, Cincy. Cincy, you knew what he was talking about. He didn't say it.
I did not. I wasn't here when Dre said any of it. No. I came late.
Look, I'm going to pull the tape. I'm going to pull the tape. Look, I'm going to tell you what he said. I'm going to tell you what he said. Look, he said. I
can't wait.
Oh, I can't either. He said, when he started off, he said, the beginning of the show, my wife said, and you go into your wife's perspective, but you did not initially say what you were talking about. I'll pull it. Anyway, what's the point, Christian? What's your point?
The point is we had a discussion about it. About
you and your wife did? You and your wife did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you and your wife saw this video that Dre brought up.
I didn't watch the video. My wife did, but this was 2 days before Dre brought it up.
Okay.
But yes. This is the same video he's talking about.
All right. So you and your wife saw it. Y'all had a discussion. All right. And your wife said what?
She said, how is it that churches are telling this lady no, but mosques are telling them yes?
Okay. And what's your point?
That was her initial response.
Right. What's your point?
I was saying video that to the one big point, she's lying. It doesn't matter how many churches she called she is lying. She's not coming from a place of honesty. So there's discernment involved. And then she asked, well, why are mosques doing it? And I had to explain the same thing. They're just trying to get you in there to convert. They don't care about you. They'll give you whatever you need to convert.
Yeah.
Money, formula, whatever.
It's all feelings driven. It's all driven by feelings. So Islamic believers, and there are some churches that still, they focus on people having a quote unquote need, and they feel like that if they take care of that need, they can get you in your feelings and they can convert you over to whatever it is. You will never see me do that. I will never, as much as I can, not rely on people's feelings to make sure that they understand what the Bible is talking about. So that's just something I'm not gonna deal with it, like not even a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Voice, what's up? Voice, what's up? What's on your mind?
Not much. God bless. No, I was actually coming up to talk about what Christian was saying, because that's actually what the Islamic movement does. Exactly what you were just saying is that they get you in your feelings. Like, for example, there was a video where they show Christians shunning somebody off who wants to get a hug, but yet the Islamic will come and give them a hug like a brother.
Yeah.
And that's like that's deliberately done to you to think that, oh, Islam's better.
Yeah, yeah,
that's
and that's what I'm saying. Converts, people who convert into Christianity, the mass majority of them, there's no validity in what they're doing. They're all in their feelings, and they quote unquote come to the Lord. And the mass majority of Islamic believers are just doing the same thing. There's a very small percentage of people of Islam that actually have like what you would call like a heart towards Islam. It's very small. The big majority of them are not doing it for any other reason than that's because their parents did it. And see, they know this. So they think that everything is the same way. And I'm talking about Islamic believers. They think everything's the same way. So that's why they'll ask Christians, are you a Christian because of you or because of your parents? So again, they take you to court is what they do. And they want to prove you wrong in front of this fake court. Really, the court is just you and them. But they say, oh, well, you're just you're a Christian because of your parents. See, you didn't really choose anything. But they're speaking of themselves. They're taking how they all became what they became, and they throw this to Christians. And the thing that they're telling the truth about is the majority of Christians today, they're just Christians because their family was. So it's easy to pull them out because they're really not, I hate to say it, they're really not a Christian because of God. They're just following suit. So it's so funny when Islam talks about how they convert Christians, and I'm like, every one of them that you have, they didn't have a relationship with God. How I know? Because everyone that I've met, every person that's told me, I used to be a Christian. I said, really? So you had a conversation with Jesus and Jesus spoke back? Well, I thought I did. You thought either you did or you didn't. Stop that. Either you did or you didn't. So if you say, well, I thought I spoke to him, then you didn't speak to him. So if you didn't speak to Jesus and he never spoke back, why are you claiming to be a Christian? Christians speak to Jesus and he does speak back. See, they can't claim that they spoke to him and he spoke back. They can't claim that because if they do, they can't be an Islamic believer. So they are forced to tell the truth that they never were a Christian. So, let's see. Love for God. What's up, man? What's on your mind?
I'm actually female. How are you, my friend?
I'm amazing. How are you?
Praise Lord. I'm doing great. I just want to say hello to everyone and thank you for having me on. I'm actually a Syrian from Baghdad.
Okay.
I was raised in a Catholic household. I went to church every Sunday with my parents, but to be honest with you, I did not learn anything about Jesus himself. And as I got older, I was more curious. Who is this Jesus that they're talking about? And remind you, I'm from Baghdad. I grew up in a Muslim country, and I have some wonderful Muslim friends and neighbors. We can't judge people according to their religion and their culture and their background and their skin. It's according to a person's heart. But all my life, growing up in a Catholic home, go to church every Sunday, same thing, same service. But like I said, I got older. I was more curious about this Jesus. And then when I left my country due to war, we left everything behind.
What year did you leave?
I left in 1992, right after the Persian Gulf War.
Okay, the first war. Okay, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it was really hard for me to leave everything I knew.
How old were you? How old were you then?
I was actually almost 16. So it was really rough for me as a teenager to leave my best friends and everything. But I knew, somehow in my heart, I knew that God has something for me. I knew there was a purpose. So praise God, I made it to the U.S. after going, living in Jordan for 3.5 years as a refuge, doing my immigration paper through American Embassy, doing everything the right way. I have to polish people's shoes, clean people's houses, just to pay for my papers to make it here.
Yeah.
And praise God, and I did. But
awesome.
When I got here, this is when I found the real Jesus. And I'm going to try to say this without crying. Because I came to this beautiful country that offered me so much. And as a woman, that I know my voice mattered, that I was able to vote, that I can go outside and have my freedom to say, I love Christ and nobody was going to shoot me, or I love Muhammad, or I love Buddha, or whatever. So this is the most beautiful gift that God has given me, is to make it here. And the most beautiful gift of all is to really know Christ. And when I really, truly knew Christ deeply is when I lost my father and my husband at the same year. God showed me that without those battles, you can't be stronger. You can't make it. So I have to go through trials for my faith to be stronger. And I have to be stronger for my family, my children, my 2 children, and my mother and my sister. So I have to keep going because my children lost their father and I did too. Yeah. But then gift of God is amazing and I cannot explain it. God has been good to me no matter what. And I could have been unalive many, many times. But then now that I look back, God has saved me to save others. There's a reason why I'm here. There's a purpose why I'm here. Because people ask, what is my purpose? Sometimes you just go in a gas station or anywhere. You talk to someone, you change their lives without you even knowing that you have changed their lives into better. Speak positively. Take something that happened to you so bad and so negative and turn it to something beautiful, because that's what God taught us to do. You know, I'm not going to sit here and dwell. Why me? Why me? I was so happy, and I'm still happy that God chose me to put me through those trials. So I just want to give my message to other people that don't judge people because of the religion, because I grew up in many religions and different cultures. I lived in Kuwait for 8 years, Jordan 3.5 years, Saudi Arabia 2 years, Dubai 3 years, and I met some wonderful people. And I hate to come here on TikTok and see people attacking each other because of their religion or their color. But
Yeah.
as Christians, we have to really go down that path. We have to spread the message of Christ is love, no matter what. You have to. There's a reason why Jesus said turn the other cheek. You have to. You have to be merciful, because God is merciful towards those who shows mercy. And God is forgiving God to those who shows forgiveness to others. And I want to spread love. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all we do here. This your first time here?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all we do here. So, and I get what you're saying. I mean, I lived in all those places you named. I lived in every one of them. Right.
Wow.
So I've been there, and I've seen the stuff that's happening there. I even lived in Nigeria for a small time, and they got kind of the same issues going on over there. Right. So, I understand exactly
but
what
God
you're.
did not put us on this earth to worry about these things.
Exactly.
These things were written and they were meant to happen. Lord Jesus already took those worries and burden from us on the cross. We have to be here for each other and pray for each other instead of judging each other.
Yeah. Are you?
And this is the problem with this world.
Yeah. Are you? How long you been on TikTok?
I actually been on TikTok for 2 years.
Yeah.
Not
So
even.
I'm guessing you're hearing a lot of judgmental stuff on TikTok.
Yes, I do. And also publicly, because I speak Aramaic. Aramaic is what Jesus spoke.
Yeah.
And just last week, I was with my mother at the store, and somebody attacked us because Aramaic sounds more like Hebrew. And this lady, bless her heart, she thought we were from Israel, and she cursed us. But I don't pay attention to that, because these are just obstacles in my way. I just pray for her and move on because I have too many important things in my life to worry about,
Of course.
I just pray for her because I don't blame someone who is not knowledgeable, who is ignorant. I don't hold it against them. I just pray for them, and I hope that God will show them the way and open their eyes to the truth. That's all.
Yeah. 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 No, I mean, that's all we talk about is Jesus on here. And, we really don't talk about anything else. I mean, we talk about family stuff. Like today, we have a sideshow called a Grit Mastery Family. So we just kind of focus on family. And so because most of what we talk about is Bible topics, we talk about all of it, on all sides. So what did you hear on here that made you come up?
I actually did not know. I just joined in. I just came across your live about 2 seconds ago, and something was telling me to go ahead and press the button. And to be honest with you, I'm nervous because I usually don't do this. But I want to go back on your subject on family as well. If you don't mind, I have something to say about that.
Just so you know what we were talking about regarding family, right? So yesterday we were talking about what does a godly man look like? That's what we talked about yesterday. And so today we're done really, but the topic was, what does a godly woman look like? And someone had a question that asked, how does a godly woman get her man to be a godly man? So as long as you're on that topic, I'm fine, because that's where we're at today. Yeah.
Well, as we know, our Bible says the man is the head of the house. That's number one. Man is the head of the house. I lost many friends over this subject. I don't care what they think. Godly woman, like I said, 5 years, especially if you have a child, the first 5 years of that child's life is very important before you send them out to the real world. Your house is the first school, and the mother is the first teacher. The husband's wife, a Christian husband's wife, a Christian husband's job is to provide for the family, and that's what God intended for a man to do, work and provide. A woman is the first teacher for that child, to teach them to be good, to know God, to be kind, and not to be bully. Make sure you're raising a decent human being before you send them out there. It is so important, the 5 years of that child's life, and a woman who is godly, of course, you know how much God hates divorce, but divorce is mentioned only when there is infidelity. Of course, if your husband's, not godly, you can try your best. You can try, don't give up on your husband. But once you find out that he is cheating and there's infidelity, you are in the clear. You go ahead and divorce.
Yeah. So the question, what would you say if you take about 15 seconds? The question is, how does a godly woman get her man to be a godly man?
To be a godly man.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, not telling him. There's a difference between asking and telling. Asking him to go to church, read the Bible, try.
Unknown call.
Communication is the most important thing in the marriage. Very, very important. First of all, if you don't have that in the first time before you got married, if you know that person does not have that in common with you, that he is not the man for you, you cannot change someone. You can change their action, but you really cannot change someone. So right from the beginning, if I am going to get married to someone, and if that someone is not in the same path with me when it comes to Christ, he's not the man for me. So I won't go with it. No.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of
the beginning.
Yeah, that's kind of where we are right now. I mean, we're done, but I didn't want to be rude to you. I at least wanted you to give your 2 cents on that. I mean, but you can come whenever. We're not against people coming up and saying what they're,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so you're good. Guys, has anybody got anything else regarding the topic? Anybody? Because it is already 2:40. Man, I got to go. Yeah, we've been on here for a few hours. Yeah.
I really do. From the bottom of my heart, I so appreciate it.
Yeah. You can come whenever and hang out. And let me see.
Thank you, sir.
Will, what did you say? It's so sad. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are sad, man. No lie.
My final message is I just hope and pray for everybody to find peace in their heart. Pray for others, even if those who hurt you. Forgive them because it's good for you. It's not good for them so much. It's good for you. Your heart will be lighter.
Oh, yeah.
We are living in the world that we see things. And now, thanks to social media, back in the day, people did not know so much because there was no social media. All they depended on was a newspaper. But now our eyes are open and we can see the truth from a lie, and I pray for people who wish for peace, not to be the part of the problem in this world. And don't judge someone according to what they believe in the religion. Respect the religion. You can give your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion, but do not disrespect other people's opinion. That's my last.
The only thing I'll say is, right, the only thing that is true is that Jesus Christ, he did come in this world, right? The death, burial, and resurrection of him is 100% true. So if any religion was to say that it's not true, right, there's no disrespect towards that religion, but I will call that religion a lie because what Jesus did is real. What Jesus did is real. So it's no disrespect to any person's religion. But if someone's religion is lying, then I will tell them your religion is a lie. So I don't believe that's disrespect at all. But okay, guys, anybody else? Anybody else got?
People don't know.
Friday.
A lot of people don't know about the forbidding. Well, you talk about Jesus is true. Yes, I do believe that, because we're talking about the forbidding chapter, which I knew about when I was coming to Jesus. The forbidden chapter, Isaiah 53, which a lot of the synagogue even ignore, which actually says about the servant who is coming to suffer and be rejected, which a lot of us Christians actually consider that to be Jesus Christ. So there's a lot of proof. And 11 of Jesus' disciples out of the 12 died. They were tortured and unalived the most horrible way because they refused to deny what they saw and what they witnessed.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Are you saying the chapter you're talking about, are you saying that it is talking about Jesus or not?
it is.
Yeah.
It is a chapter, Isaiah 53, I believe. It's called the forbidden chapter.
Who's calling it a forbidden chapter?
Mostly a lot of Jewish synagogue actually reading is they ignore that chapter, which actually is telling us about the coming of Jesus, that was before Christ was born.
They're trying to cover it up, try to hide it. I know. Yeah, I know about that. Yeah, that's true. It's true. Jordan, what were you saying?
A lot of people don't know about that.
Yeah, I know. Jordan, what were you saying?
I was gonna say Friday. Are we doing a timeless Yeshua Friday?
It's possible. I don't know yet.
Okay.
It's possible. If not, we're supposed to be doing one every week. This one just happened to go 2 days. So, but it's possible that we could do a timeless Yeshua tomorrow. Yep. Anybody got anything else? Anybody? Nobody? God
bless.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all in the morning. And love, just so you know, we come on anywhere between 8 to 10 in the morning, American time, and that's Central time. So I don't know exactly where you are, but
I'm actually in Chicago.
Okay, so where I'm at is Central time. So somewhere between 8 to 10 a.m. Central time. That's about what time we come on, and we usually stay on between 2, sometimes 3 hours. If you ever want to come hang out, obviously you can. So,
thank you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. God bless. We'll see y'all in the morning.
God bless as well. Thank you so very much. Thank you.